If you're carrying a bag of salt and you're in the city of Yaoundé, please don't step out because it looks like the heavens are in mourning. It's a total rainfall in the city's capital, in the capital city this morning. Good morning and thank you for choosing to wake up with the CRTV. If you're watching us, you're doing wonderfully well. Please thank you for trusting us. We are about to start our 3-hour experience of today, and I can assure you we've gone very far to make sure that you have only smiles on your face this morning and that we will learn something in the process. But first, let's start by getting you updated about what has been happening in and around the country in the past hours.
The first preparatory meeting, which held at the conference hall of the governor's office, was an avenue for the various stakeholders concerned with the 131st edition of the International Labour Day celebrations to brainstorm on ways of ensuring a smooth and successful organization of this year's Labour Day set aside to celebrate workers. During the meeting, chaired by the Inspector General at the East Region Governor's Office, Keyanchi Augustin, participants who comprised of representatives of worker syndicates, employers and members of the regional delegation of labor and social security raised points on what should be done to ensure an exceptional organization of this event. It was the wish of the regional delegate of labor and social security that employers should get their companies registered on time so as to avoid last-minute rush, which usually destabilizes the smooth running of the program. It was also decided that drivers and motorbike riders should avoid risky maneuvers of their engines during the D-Day march past, which usually leads to severe accidents. At the end of the 3 hours deliberation, Mr. Keyanchi Augustin called on the different heads of commission to work hand in glove with their collaborators to ensure that this year's event goes on hitch-free.
This convention that brought together over 500 young people of the youth wing of the CPDM party in the Diamari 1 section was in line with the party text aimed at training young people of the ruling party on contemporary issues. Issues like vandalism, security, and the respect of party rules and regulations. Closing the convention recently in Marwa, the president of the youth wing, Yusuf Issa Balarabi, invited the youth to be politically conscious, remain united, and sensitize their peers to register for the upcoming elections. Yusuf Issa Balarabi also told the young people of the benefits they stand to gain if they are faithful to the party. Benefits like that of employment, training of different domains. Reasons, he continued, they have to all vote massively during these upcoming 2018 presidential elections to give 100% victory to their party chairman, Paul Biya.
Rich in song and color, the CPDM militants of Awing village expressed gratitude to the Mezam 2 section president, Fru Jonathan, for distributing the much-needed manure and salt to farmers at the verge of the planting season and promised to work harder for good harvest. CPDM resource persons like Ayafo Napoleon, Barrister Mbukan, among others, exhorted the people to mobilize and register massively for the upcoming elections.
This is planting season, and for militants to rejoice in our party, feel comfortable to give them this to increase production, maize production, beans and everything. In that way they will be happy because every nation that fits itself well is a stable nation.
President Paul Biya recognized the special position they occupy in this country. And we are making the farmers to launch the season to plant crops, to grow their crops, and educate their children.
Launching the planting season, Mr. Fru Jonathan told the indigents that Awing village is the only village in Cameroon with 2 ambassadors and 2 members of the Bilingualism and Multiculturalism Commission appointed by President Paul Biya, reason why they have to demonstrate appreciation to the head of state by voting him at the upcoming election.
There were over 1,000 men of the Cameroon Baptist Convention who converged on Boya for their 7th biennial conference, the main goal being to revive the spirit of leadership and evangelism in the men.
We're using the life of Joseph from Genesis chapter 41, verses 33 to 49 to challenge the men to be visionary. Without the leadership of the Holy Spirit, you cannot succeed. You must plan.
Through enriching messages, worship sessions, workshops and other activities, the men are going back well equipped for their mission. It was also an occasion to plan for projects and validate their vision of the CBC for the next 3 years.
The main goal for this conference was actually to galvanize men's thought, to see where God is leading us to 2020. The men decided on 5 strategic areas that they need to accomplish. They realized that we had to be somewhere based on our participation, our involvement of men in ministry.
The youth wing of the men's department of the CBC, the Boys Brigade, was also very present. The event also saw the new national coordinator of Boys Brigade for Cameroon, Gwe Brain, officially commissioned.
Jamais le peuple dit ne s'était jusqu'ici rassemblé dans un tel cadre, malgré sa longue marche migratoire.
Le peuple dit est quitté, n'est-ce pas, de l'Égypte pharaonique. Avec les guerres et autres, ils n'ont pas pu supporter. Ils ont traversé le Tchad et puis ils sont arrivés dans la région du Nord, dans le département de Mayorai.
Une histoire riche et intéressante qui inclut l'invention du fer, de la découverte à la transformation, principale attraction de ce rendez-vous culturel.
Il y a l'herbe, il y a le charbon, la farine de fer qu'on appelle en patois le san. On mélange avec le feu. À un moment donné, après, 1 heure après, quand vous allez voir que c'est le fer qui va donc sortir.
Autre intérêt pour les festivaliers, l'abattage du mil et l'exhibition des danses traditionnelles propres à la communauté dit, revêtant chacune une signification.
Lorsque les chasseurs veulent donc aller en brousse pour aller chasser, et parfois même quand les chefs traditionnels veulent donc sortir, n'est-ce pas, de leur chefferie, c'est le sabbat qu'on les accompagne avec cette danse.
Un retour aux sources, salué par l'ensemble des orateurs lors de la phase protocolaire de ce premier festival Hengue avec en toile de fond la valorisation et la promotion de la culture dit dans le concert des nations.
L'amicale du personnel de la CRTV Nord n'a pas encore fait dans la dentelle avec cette soirée dansante qui se voulait glamour. Au menu, d'abord, le visionnage du match Cameroun-Sénégal. À la fin de la rencontre, la qualification des Lions indomptables pour les demi-finales de la CAN 2017 a donné plus d'entrain aux amicalistes visiblement décidés à oublier un tant soit peu le travail et à faire la fête. Après 1 an d'existence, la PCN est décidée à continuer l'aventure.
L'amicale a mené un certain nombre d'activités qui vont de l'excursion aux aides à ses membres. Nous sommes très ambitieux. Nous pensons que nous serons à même d'aller à Ngaoundéré auprès de nos collègues de l'Adamawa. Nous pouvons aller faire du tourisme vers le gorge de Kola à Guider.
Cette amicale a contribué à resserrer les liens, à renforcer les liens d'amitié, de solidarité et le sens élevé de partage qui puisse exister au sein d'une association.
Moment d'émotion et de joie partagés avec des convives de marque.
J'encourage tous les membres de l'amicale à prêter la main forte au président pour que cette association perdure.
C'est une belle initiative. Si on pouvait étendre cette action dans beaucoup de services, que ce soit les services publics ou bien parapublics.
L'initiative est bonne. Peut-être encore un volet que j'aimerais que le président ajoute, c'est-à-dire des séances de formation au sein de l'amicale pour améliorer les capacités du personnel.
Très attendu à présent, le lancement des activités de l'APCN pour l'année 2017.
Près de 10 000 doses de pesticides à usage agricole ont été distribuées à 84 groupes de producteurs de cacao et de café pour le compte de la campagne agricole en cours dans la région de l'Ouest. Des dons constitués pour l'essentiel des fongicides et d'insecticides. C'était un événement heureux pour les organisations de producteurs bénéficiaires.
Nous sommes contents par rapport à ces appuis parce que pour moi c'est une première fois d'être appuyé. Avec ces produits-là, ça peut nous permettre d'avoir des projets un peu intenses dans l'avenir.
À travers cette reprise du traitement des vergers cacao-café dans la région de l'Ouest, le ministère de l'Agriculture et du Développement rural projette à l'horizon 2020 une production de 600 000 tonnes pour le cacao et 150 000 tonnes pour le café. En remettant ses appuis au Seigneur de la Terre, le secrétaire général des services du gouverneur de la région de l'Ouest, Simon-Émile Ma, les a exhortés à redoubler d'ardeur au travail afin que les objectifs poursuivis par le gouvernement soient atteints.
En faisant bon usage, ces dons permettent d'améliorer leurs conditions de vie et de booster notre production agricole.
Dans la région de l'Ouest, il faut le préciser, le cacao et le café constituent encore la principale source de revenus pérennes pour les acteurs du monde rural.
According to the National Institute of Statistics, the informal sector accounts for over 50% of Cameroon's gross domestic product. However, the sector is still limping due to limited access to substantial loans and relatively poor organization. It is in a bid to bring order in this sector that the Cameroon Business Leaders Group, GICAM, through this research suggests a migration from the informal economic sector to the formal sector.
L'avantage sera que les acteurs de l'informel qui tournent en rond.
The advantage will be that actors of the informal sector who do not have enough potentials to grow will have the possibility to officially better their businesses. Government will enlarge its fiscal assets and increase its income, and enterprises will gain visibility.
Seront tout à fait formels et visibles.
Actors of the informal sector, government ministries and the International Labour Organization salute this effort of GICAM to bring sanity to the business environment in Cameroon, but are still worried about the contextual challenges of the paradigm shift.
In reality, favoritism and nepotism in the application of tax have made people to lose the assurance of moving toward the formal sector because they don't know what awaits them.
GICAM hopes to attain this goal by first converting some 500 small and medium-sized enterprises from the informal to the formal sector.
You know, in the 90s, if you wanted to have a baby and that was a problem in your home, there was a song that couples could sing, Baby. That's the song we want to throw you back to today on Retro Clip. It's a song by Zangalewa, and I'm sure it's a song that will remind you of a lot of things. Just enjoy.
Je vais dire à ma mère, maman. Maman.
C'est quoi? Hein? Dis alors. Dis-moi deux mots.
J'ai besoin, oh là, d'un petit bébé, d'un petit bébé, d'un petit bébé, bébé. Oh, doudou, d'un petit bébé, bébé. Oh, da da da, d'un petit bébé, bébé. Oh, doudou, da. Il me rappellerait papa, maman et mon grand-père. Il garderait ma maison, mon village, mon pays.
Un verre cassé, la parfois sur le plancher, j'ai besoin de tout ça. Moi aussi j'ai besoin de tout ça. Un plat cassé, j'ai besoin de tout ça. Un verre cassé, j'ai besoin de tout ça.
J'ai besoin d'être taché. J'ai besoin d'être mouillé par mon petit bébé. C'est caca, pipi. C'est caca, manque l'école. Gaoula, j'ai dans mon bord. Oh,
That's a beautiful song. I'm sure it took you very, very far back. You could see Annie Anzua when she was just stepping into the world of music. And of course, with the Zangalewa team, a team that did make a lot of noise, good noise, positive, the kind of noise we like in those days. Well, let's come back to reality. I know some of you are sitting there waiting to know what the stars have for you today. But before we go discover what Joyce Abigail has for you, this is my question for you today. Does it matter if you have a boy child or a girl child? Because in some homes, apparently, it brings a whole fight. And sometimes in the hospital, midwives, they see all kinds of things. So please tell me about you. What do you think? Does it matter if it's a boy or a girl? If it matters, send me a text message and tell me why. If it doesn't, also send me a text message and tell me why. If you're new to this game, then you'll have to wait a little bit before I give you my number. I'm doing what they call high up this morning. So let's go read what the stars have for us with Joyce Abigail. Just hold on.
Hello, good morning. You're welcome to your horoscope. We start with the firstborn, Aries. Your symbol is the ram. You're born between March 21st and April 19. Today, think deeply, speak gently, love much, love a lot, work hard, give freely, trust God, and be kind. A famous Aryan, Eric Maxim Choupo-Moting, a Cameroon football star. Taurus, second born, good morning. Your symbol is the bull. Those of you born between April 20th and May 20th. Today, finding an old friend is like finding a lost treasure. It will mean a lot to you today. So humble yourself, be prepared to meet an old friend and chat over old memories. A famous Taurian is Arnaud Njum, that is, a football star. Gemini, third born. Those of you born between May 21st and June 20th, remember, your symbol is the twins. Today, mistakes is your greatest teacher, but only when you are honest enough to admit them, willing to learn from them, and you have the courage to change them. The Cameroon football star, Ernest Mabuka. On to the fourth born, Cancer. Good morning, those of you born between June 21st and July 22nd. Cancer, your symbol is the crab. Today, be strong enough to stand alone. Be yourself enough to stand apart, but be wise enough to stand together when that time comes. And a famous Cancerian is Frank Boyer, that is a Cameroon football star. Now, Leo, good morning. Those of you born between July 23rd and August 22nd, your symbol is the lion. Be yourself today, and in being yourself, also give out your very best. That will make you to outshine even more today, Leo. A famous Leo is Serge Luca, and that is a Cameroon football star. Now, Virgo, your symbol is the Virgin. Those of you born between August 23rd and September 22nd. Virgo, sometimes the things that you cannot change ends up being that thing that would change you. Today, be very wise and stay alert and vigilant. A famous figure is Jacques Zoua, Cameroon football star. Libra, good morning. Your symbol is the scales. Those of you born between September 23rd and October 22nd. Libra, at the end of the day, people will judge you anyway. So don't live your life today trying to impress others. Live your life impressing yourself. A famous Libran is Christian Basogak, Cameroon football star. Brings us to Scorpio. Your symbol is the scorpion. Those of you born between October 23rd and November 21st. Good morning to you. Now, taking time to do nothing would often bring everything into perspectives. So today, Scorpio, speak only when you feel that your words are better than your silence. The famous Scorpio, André Frank Zambo Anguissa. That is a Cameroon football star. Sagittarius, your symbol is the archer. Those of you born between November 22nd and December 21st, good morning. Sagittarius, when life knocks you down, roll over and look at the stars. Try not to take things personally. What people say about you today is a reflection of themselves and not you. A famous Sagittarius is Michel Gadu, and that is a Cameroon football star. Capricorn 10th born symbol is the goat. Those of you born between December 21st and January 19th, good morning. Now, today, you should ponder about positive thinking and remember that positive thinking isn't about expecting the best to happen every time, but accepting that whatever happens is the best for the moment. A famous Capricorn is Fabrice Ondoa, and that is a Cameroon football star. Aquarius, good morning, 11th born. Your symbol is the water bearer. Those of you born from January 20th to February 18th. Aquarius, life has knocked you down a few times. It has showed you things you never wanted to see. You have experienced sadness and failures, but one thing for sure that would always take you to that place is for you to always get up on your feet. Stand tall today and look forward to the future. A famous Aquarian, Vincent Abubakar, Cameroon's football star. Pisces, last born, 12th born, of course, your symbol is the fish. Those of you born between February 19th and March 20th, good morning. Today, don't be afraid to start over. It is a new chance to rebuild what you want. A famous Piscean is the Cameroon football star, Samuel Eto'o. That is it as far as your horoscope is concerned today. Thinking of those of you born on this day, happy birthday. Without your positive traits, you are a patient person, you are peaceful, you are adaptable, you are loving, and you are a kind person. When it comes to your negative traits, you are lazy, you would easily keep a grudge, and sometimes you might just be running a little out of patience, though you are somehow patient as well. That is it for you. Have a blast. Happy birthday to you. But don't forget one thing. Keep watching Hello Cameroon. Until next time, have a nice day.
So, Joyce Abigail, is it a patient or not so patient person? Because I know a person who is perfectly midway between patient and impatient, and he's born today. I want to wish happy birthday to a royalty. He's called Ephraim Banda Gugumu. Happy birthday to you, Pa. You are doing excellently well over there in Bamenda. Please keep up. And now, this report we thought we could bring to you on Tuesday, but our machine said no. Well, we went and checked what happened. I want to bring that report again to you. It's about the environment. It's a piece that Bill Titi did on the environment and some of those environmental issues that you and I need to be aware of.
Is fast losing its natural resources due to the activities of man. Environmental pollution, deforestation, and massive destruction of flora and fauna have led to the degradation of the ecosystem, hence imposing the devastating effects of climate change on the planet. Many localities in Cameroon, just like elsewhere in the world, have been witnessing climate change with prolonged dry seasons and hot temperatures. The changing climatic conditions are equally having effects on the soil and affecting food production, thus creating worries on food security across the globe. It is to draw awareness and pull support for the Redemption of the Earth Worldwide, that the Worldwide Fund for Nature, WWF, initiated a movement to unite people and protect the planet. The movement is called Earth Hour. The Earth Hour event, observed towards the end of March, was commemorated in Cameroon, in the economic capital of Douala, under the auspices of WWF Cameroon and the Roger Miller Foundation.
Our effort is to tell people that other countries develop without destroying the environment. We can also develop in Cameroon without destroying the environment. Environmental and climate change and things will impact more on those who don't have money, those who are poor.
Ça me rappelle ma jeunesse. Quand je vous dis ça me rappelle ma jeunesse.
Launched at Sardefet Aqua, the event mobilized people from different fragments of society to show commitment to the planet. The very young in school were involved so that they can grow with the lessons of ensuring a sustainable world.
We need to protect our environment because it's a very capital thing. Because we need to limit global warming, which is very dangerous, not only for the plants, for the animals, but also for us.
Students graced the event with competitions in brain trusts on environment issues, painting, and a Miss Ecology contest. From Aqua, the Earth Hour event went to Lycée Mungo Joseph and Lycée de Nyala for a tree planting exercise with Cameroon's roving ambassador Roger Miller, one of the organizers of the campaign, fraternizing with students. The football hero has fast turned to an environment hero. Individuals and organizations in Douala were called upon to keep their environment clean and safe. The lessons went to CRTV Littoral in Douala, where Earth campaigners lauded CRTV for educative and interactive programs broadcast to fight pollution, illegal poaching, deforestation, and other practices that put the environment and the ecosystem at risk. With growing industrial activities in the economic city of Douala, the FR campaign has hit the mark to sensitize and conscientize the population on the need to keep their environment safe.
That often we do not realize that resources can get depleted and we can run out of some of those things. This is just a reminder to you and I that our environment needs our attention, and that once in a while, when we cut a tree down, we should try to plant another one. And once in a while, when we do not need it, we do not need to destroy it, isn't it? We can't stop reminding you. Sometime later on in this program, we're going to be telling you about the Limbe Festival of Arts and Culture, which is in full gear. It started on the 8th of April, and it's going on, and it will end on Saturday. You still have a few days to run to Limbe and get an idea of what culture means, because this is a place where all cultures are meeting, not only from Cameroon, but from different countries like Togo, Benin, Nigeria, just to name these. But right now, we've been wondering, do you use emergency numbers often? We have the 117 for the police in case, the 117 and the 1,500 for the police. We also have the 118 for the firefighters brigade. We have a number of others. Do you use them? And what is your experience with them? We thought our focus could be on that today, and Gwendolyn Egbe put together this report.
Going through the journey of life, we might think life is easy with our eyes closed. Sooner than later, you will realize ignorance in basic knowledge can be catastrophic. Take, for instance, emergency numbers. Many Cameroonians have no idea of what numbers to call in case of an emergency. Nonetheless, those who know them make use of them though uncivilly sometimes.
Generally, we are between 200 and 400 calls in a day.
In a day?
In a day.
For fires?
For fires and other emergencies like road accidents and so on. Okay. Like people who are falling into wells and things that we have to go rescue and things like that. There are about 400 calls a day. But generally, out here, let's say in the nation's capital, we have about 12 to 15 outings a day, that is to say. So the rest of the calls, they are either fake calls or people who call us to disturb us or just to insult, as usual. You'll notice that the person who works or the people who work down there at the emergency call reception center, down there, generally they are very, very stressed and they are very tensed, because of those, most of those calls you don't know really if it is true. You might find people who are arguing somewhere. They say, we're going to see how long the fire department is going to take to get here. And then they make an emergency call and to see, all right. Then when they call, they start, checking the time.
It's heartbreaking to imagine some of us use these numbers to play pranks.
It's our duty to respond to every emergency call. The essential thing is that whenever a call comes in, then the person who receives the call, would of course ask the caller their ID, their location, and their telephone number, and then they will call them back, to be sure that this number exists and that it is a genuine issue. Sometimes we might get about 10, 20 calls for the same incident, so when we get many calls for the same incident, then it's obvious. But when we just get one call, of someone saying, okay, fine, there is a fire here, then we have to cross-check. Sometimes we get the calls from the National Gendarmerie or from the police service or just from one of our seniors. We have our general who is always available to those things.
J'ai un son qui l'écoute. Ah bon? On ne peut pas compter.
We can't count. Children as well as adults disturb. They really disturb. The number of fake calls are more than the real ones. When the call is for real, it is obvious. Many people call for the same incident, while when it is a fake call, just one person calls.
We don't know them as the Fire Battalion, but they are the Fire and Rescue Battalion, meaning you can call them in case of any accident, car, plane, boat, name them, even when someone has a heart attack or crisis.
Of course, sometimes people would say we always come late, but we cannot be there at the time when it's happening.
Exactly.
For example, we are right here in Mimboman. We are 15 kilometers away from Mendong, 50 kilometers of traffic jams and all of that. So if you take your own vehicle and drive from here to Mendong, how long are you going to take? People don't know that we are in a hurry.
Okay.
Yeah. So we drive, for example, we're on the road and then there's someone in his vehicle or in her vehicle which is closed tight, they cannot hear the emergency siren of our vehicle coming in. There's those situations that are very traumatizing, very, very traumatizing. There are accidents. I happened to work on that aircraft accident in 2007 that happened in Bangapongo in Douala. And when I got there, I looked around that night. After we found the aircraft, I decided to do some reconnaissance and things. So we went around the place. I was with this guy at that time was a staff sergeant, Sakeng, that's his name. So we went around under the supervision of General Sali Mohammadou. So we went around, looked at the place. Then when I came back, the general said, Ekoso, est-ce qu'il y a quelqu'un de vivant? That is to say, is there anybody alive? I said, no, there is no movement. He said, all right, you will do your duty as you have to do it.
At least you now know how traumatizing it is to be a lifesaver. They battle with nightmares even when awake. That notwithstanding, they do have some unforgettable moments that warms their hearts.
It was a Saturday night that there was a road accident, between Yaoundé and between Douala and Edea. So we took off. It was about 1 o'clock in the morning, and then we got there. We found this truck that was lying on the side but in the bush. We found the other truck on the other side of the road, and we found this personal vehicle that had been overturned somehow. So the other occupants had died, but there was one person, the driver of the driver of the truck that was lying in the bush, who was like screaming that, "You guys, please come save me." So I got there, and he said, he said, "Make sure that you save me, because I will never forget you guys." So we walked there in the bush there for about 1 hour. We succeeded in raising that truck. We got him out alive. That night was, we were so happy. And he himself, when the ambulance took him, when they put him in the ambulance and all the doctors, he turned around and said, "I want to see that captain that guy who took me out of this place."
They are at our beck and call, but we should help them carry out their job, and well, too. There you go. Don't hesitate to call anytime and everywhere when in need. For the police, dial 117, that's 117. Ambulance 119, that's 119. And Fire and Rescue Battalion 118, 118. It's free of charge.
It's indeed free of charge. And please don't call if you are not having an emergency. It's called emergency numbers. And one of the reasons why they have problems reaching people who are in need is because there are a lot of funny calls in between. Now, what does the man on the street think about emergency numbers? Do you use them? What do you think about them? Let's have a vox pop.
When you talk of emergency numbers, you mean those numbers that you can call in times of trouble, any kind of distress. For instance, if you have like theft in your home, you can call 117, which is the police. You can also call for fire incidents, which is 118.
It's a number which you call if you need assistance. Public assistance, either the police assist you or pompier to assist you. You need assistance, short and simple.
Okay. And do you know any numbers here in Cameroon?
I don't know, but the police, they call it, I don't know, 111 or what, I don't know how they call them.
An emergency number is a number we use when, maybe when we are blocked, when we are tied up, when we find ourselves in situations that are beyond us. It's a number that we can get to, maybe in moments of crisis, moments of difficulties. And so, yes.
And do you know any emergency number in Cameroon?
118, fire brigade, the fire brigade, I think.
Have you ever had need for it?
No, not personally, but I know of people who've called the fire brigade in moments of fire incidents.
And did they expect it?
Yes, they came.
An emergency number is a number when you call when you're in need. Yeah, when there is an incident, you can call that number for safety. Yeah, for people to come and rescue you from the danger that you're in.
Okay, do you know any emergency number?
Yeah, I don't really know, but I know they exist. I know there are several numbers that exist. Like once you had a number in the hospital that when if your child is sick in the night, you can call the number. They should come and rescue the situation.
Okay. Can you remember the number?
It's 8757.
You should do with emergency numbers is you should write them in your phone. Do like you do with with your PIN, you know, your code, your bank code and whatever, because it's so important. You never know when you need it. But just for reminders, 117 is for the police in case maybe you're having an armed robbery, maybe you're having anything to do with the police. Anything that concerns safety in the city. And 1,500 is like you find huge traffic or you find something, it's still the police number, but it's more common and it's for everyday trouble around town. 118 is the fire and rescue brigade. There are a number of others, but please, if you see an emergency number, you think you could need it, write it down. Don't say there are some I don't know. You should know. You don't know when you need it. That's why we decided to focus on emergency numbers today, and we hope the message went through. Thank you very much, Gwendolyn Egbe, for doing a wonderful job there. In a short while, we'll be giving you the weather forecast. You know, we're telling you, if you're carrying a bag of salt and you're in the city of Yaoundé, please don't send your head outside, because the heavens are in mourning this morning. But we'll be giving you details about other cities in the country very shortly. Right now, let me talk to Mr. So Simon Donum. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, ma'am.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
All right. What brings a gentleman like you to our studio this morning? I guess we're talking about startups.
Yes, we are.
Okay, tell me about what you're doing.
Okay, so I am the founder of the Cameroon Startup Academy, which is a professional institution which tries to provide support services to young entrepreneurs, to young Cameroonians who want to get into business. So we are actually like bringing in something new in the Cameroonian system, which is accompanying what the government is already doing for young people in Cameroon. So many new programs have been put down by the government to speed up the creation of companies, such as the multiplication of incorporation centers, the new finance law, which enables young people to be able to create their companies at 100,000 francs rather than a million. So we come now to add an additional touch, because we noticed many companies die after the first 2 years of the implementation. So it's not only about creating, but equally providing the support services, what is needed for them to be able to grow as a company as a whole.
When you talk about support services, what kind of support services are you offering? Do you offer mentorship so that they can go beyond the 2 years?
Exactly.
Do you offer any financial assistance? I don't know, give us an idea.
Okay, so what we do is we prepare a threefold program. The first is practical training.
Okay.
Yes, to make sure they are equipped, because most young people who want to get into business don't have the business experience. So we actually put down a 3 months crash program, which is meant to equip them with the necessary knowledge. That is the theoretical part of it. The second thing we do is we allocate mentors, business mentors, that is businessmen who have already succeeded in the domain. We put them in contact with these young people who we train and ensure that they are able to have guidance on the kind of business which they are doing to learn from people who have already had the experience. The third thing is it's what we are still about to do, which is the most difficult thing which young entrepreneurs face, that is access to finance. Yeah. So what we equally embark on doing is to enlist all the startups which we are working with on platforms to be able to raise financial resources, and equally to enable them, help them, direct them on the various sources of finance, because so many people are not informed about how to get about raising funds to be able to carry out their business activities.
You were talking about the challenge of going beyond 2 years once a business is created. I know you're pretty young as well. You're just about a year or so. What is your hope going forward? What are your ambitions? How does it look like for you, the future? Are you worried that you might not cross that second year, or everything is in order?
Yes, that's a very important question, because being a startup, we are trying to equally encourage startups. So we basically face almost the same difficulties.
Okay.
That is why we have tried to surround ourselves with the maximum number of experienced people to equally guide us in the process. Now we are not really afraid of maybe falling into the trap of failing within the first 2 years of implementation, because we took close to a year to do a prospection, close to a year to build up our program, and we are using sustainable measures. We are using measures which and not we forecast before we got into this project. So it's not something which we think we can be trapped within this first 2 years.
Mr. So Simon Donum, I think one of the things you're saying there and that I'd like to take is that you should prepare adequately before you go into business.
Exactly.
That could be one way to survive way into it. Well, thank you so much for coming on Hello Cameroon.
Thank you, ma'am.
And have a beautiful day.
That's one for you.
We are in a season of riches in Cameroon now. And so would you like something fresh for the morning? Maybe a bit of something from my basket, anything?
No, thank you. It is the Holy Week, so I am fasting.
It is. Okay. So you're one of those who will be saying Hallelujah on Sunday.
Oh, yes, I am.
Have a beautiful week. Now, if you're wondering how your outside is looking like, please stay with us right now. We're going to give you an idea.
Hello Cameroon, in the Sinta region, Yaoundé, this 13 April 2017 will have a weather 32 high temperature, 21 minimal and 27 medium. The risk of rain up to 80% littoral showers. The temperature very clearly with 34 degrees of high temperature, 26 minimal and 31 medium. The risk of rain up to 100%. The sky will be partly cloudy. Let us show the southwest region in Boya will have 33 degrees of high temperature, 24 minimal and 30 degrees of medium temperature. The risk of rain up to 100%. The sky will be partly cloudy with a thunderstorm west. In Bafoussam showers, 29 degrees of high temperature, 19 minimal and 25 medium. The risk of rain up to 100%. The sky will be very thunderstorm. In the far north region, Mara, the sky will be very hot with 41 degrees of high temperature, 46 minimal and 39 medium. The sky will be very, very hot. Let us show the neighbor in Garwa, north region, 37 degrees of high temperature, 25 minimal and 31 medium. The sky will be very hot. In the south region, Ibolova, we will have 38 high temperature, 20 minimal and 25 medium. The sky will be very, very up with thunderstorm and cloud. Northwest region in Baminda will have 26 degrees of high temperature, 17 minimal and 23 medium. The sky will be very, very rainy up to 100%. The sun will be clearly. In the east region, Beto will have 30 degrees of high temperature, 20 minimal and 28 medium. The sun will be most part in the sky, particularly with 100% of rain. Adamawa shows us 30 degrees of high temperature, 19 minimal and 25 medium. The risk of rain up to 18% with partly cloudy in the sky. The sun will rise at 6 a.m. and light at 6:19 p.m. Stay tuned on the same channel. See you tomorrow.
Now you know how your outside is looking like. In a short while, in a few seconds, we'll be getting into the news with Patricia Leba Matukson. But we're asking you today, is it a boy or a girl? What's your option? What do you think? What is your take? Our number is 667479043. Tell us what you think about children. Do you prefer or you don't? You just take as it comes or you have a choice? Who even decides which one it is? I mean, all of that, talk to us. Send us a text message at 667479043. Now it's 7 o'clock and the lady with the news is right here.
Great, it's my delight to welcome you for the 7 a.m. edition of the news today. The head of state, Paul Biya, is back in the country after a state visit to Italy. Accompanied by First Lady Chantal Biya, he was welcomed at the airport by top personalities of his administration, dance groups, and CPDM supporters. Details of that with George Ewane.
The President of the Republic is back, and this is when the nation takes its pulse. The heartbeat doubles, spirits are high, expectations are rife, and mind-throbbing questions yet find answers. On a state visit to Italy from the 20th to the 22nd of March 2017, the head of state, accompanied by First Lady Chantal Biya, made remarkable breakthroughs in fostering relations between Yaoundé and Rome and between Yaoundé and the Holy See. At the VIP launch of the Yaoundé Simalian International Airport, the air is filled with joy and enthusiasm expressed by traditional dance groups and CPDM supporters of the Mefu and Afamba South constituency. At the foot of the plane, the presidential couple is welcomed by the President of the Senate, the President of the Cameroon National Assembly, the Prime Minister, Head of Government, the Minister, Secretary General of the Presidency of the Republic, the Apostolic Nuncio to Cameroon, and the Italian Ambassador, Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary to Yaoundé and Malabo. Remarkably present this day and for the first time ever is the newly appointed and installed Governor of the Central Region, Nasere Paul Biya, whose countenance tells it all. It is the story of this visit that First Lady Chantal Biya shares with the wives of her husband's close collaborators and her own personal aides in an all-woman corner they shared in the memories of the visit. President Paul Biya, on his part, is itchy to get first-hand information on the state of the nation in his absence, but as courtesy will have it, he first of all grants audiences to the Apostolic Nuncio in Cameroon, Monsignor Piero Piopo, with whom he shares the experiences of his encounter with Pope Francis. Paul also grants audience to the Italian ambassador to Cameroon, architect of the state visit, Samuela Esopi. It is after these two brief audiences that the head of state, Paul Biya, grants audience to the President of the Senate, Marcel Nyat Njifenji, who closed the Senate on Tuesday after a brilliant re-election as President of that House of Parliament. Following on his footsteps is the President of the National Assembly, Kava Yege Jibril, also just re-elected as Speaker of the House for the umpteenth time in the history of Cameroon. The conduct of the first ordinary session certainly was discussed. Executive matters were reserved for the Prime Minister and Head of Government, Philemon Yang, who has steered governmentship and activities in the absence of the Head of State. Finally, Paul Biya received in audience the Chief Scribe of the Presidency, Ferdinand Ngongo. These audiences are proof that the Head of State has wanted to get a clear picture of some pending files awaiting a presidential signature and seal. After 45 minutes at the VIP lodge, President and Mrs. Biya then took off en route to the Unity Palace in Yaoundé. While they were away, so many things happened. Decisions were taken and instructions given. Now the time for follow-up is here, and the days ahead will certainly make Cameroonians feel the president even more. His absence was beginning to be too present.
And on to this human interest story, a 55-year-old woman is reported dead and several families rendered homeless by heavy storms that raked on April 8 in Kolbogo district. That's in the Central region. The wind wreckage, which affected 11 villages, brought down trees on houses and heap of branches on the streets. Larry Afende was in SAR and brought back this report.
No roof for shelter anymore. These infants at Mekimebodo for now can't understand why. Houses ruined, flickered rooftops, families turned homeless, electricity perturbed. 11 villages waking up to a new dawn. This is the effect of thunderstorms at Nkolbogo district, Saturday, April 8, 8 p.m. A memory they won't forget in a hurry.
This van away don't come, no? He can take my house, he can up. I've been for inside with 4 people with marine. So now we don't come, we come out with the run. Say, now die this, he don't come.
He is 76 and doesn't know what becomes of his family hereafter. For his 6 grandchildren, even a smile is hard to wear 4 days after. 55-year-old Marie-Therese Menye, I'm told, lost her life to Saturday's disaster as she plunged into a tree.
It seems my elder sister was returning from the stream when it rained. My niece went to the stream at the time, and just there, she saw her aunt's headscarf. Opposite was a corpse battered by a tree. This one.
Local investment erased by wind, a chronicle these indigents haven't experienced before.
Now go to now Satan don't come to me for this place. Now go to Savi. Mrs. Another Savi, what you don't come out with me? In a ballon?
This 82-year-old was in bed pondering upon the funeral of his late wife when the storms raged that night. He stayed the night under this collapsed structure, but was rescued in the morrow by villagers.
The wakekeep of my late wife is on the 21st, and I don't know where I will lay her corpse. I don't really know.
In the heart of the Passion Week, this Roman Catholic worship center wasn't spared from crack-ups and partial roof breakage. Just close by, solidarity work is on to assist this family. Their hearts are pained. Nkobogo district is found in Saa subdivision, the Lekye division of the Central region. The villagers say their fears are high this Wednesday as weather forecasts tell of heavy storms tonight. Life this way is yet to return to normal.
And the minister delegate at the ministry in charge of Agriculture and Rural Development, Clementine Ananga Messina, has called on smallholders in the agri sector to form cooperatives to enhance their strength. She was speaking while on a visit to the Douala International Trade Fair for Development. Details of that visit with Gumba Endele.
The minister delegate at the Ministry of Agriculture is yet another dignitary to visit the Douala International Trade Fair for Development. Proof of government's interest in this private initiative, Mrs. Ananga Messina came over to Douala with some bright ideas for Cameroon's smallholders in the private sector.
You can also improve on your bargaining power because if the middlemen come to buy your products, if you are together, if you have an amount product, you can better bargain and obtain a better price. So those are the subject and we are exchanged, and I am very satisfied with my presence here with my collaborators, and we hope that next edition will also be there.
In a well-elaborated press conference, the minister delegate highlighted the role the Ministry of Agriculture plays in facilitating the task of farmers in the rural and enclaved areas of Cameroon. She says the Ministry of Agriculture has been involved not only in assisting farmers with inputs, but also in the building of farm-to-market roads. Without roads and means of transportation, lots of produce from the enclaved localities of the country will perish in the farms to the detriment of both farmers and the consumers. The easy access to markets of farm produce is also a key determinant of the prices of such produce in the markets of Cameroon. Mrs. Ananga Messina visited some of the stands at the Douala International Trade Fair for Development, which is the initiative of the politician Jean-Jacques Ekinde.
And work on the Yaoundé-Simalène motorway may continue unperturbed. This follows a distribution of 283 million francs CFA worth of compensation to some 127 beneficiaries. The operation was led yesterday by administrative authorities of the Central Region and the Mefu and Afamba Division. Lekete Gertrude Azongazi reports.
A Prime Ministerial Decree of December 2015 authorized the payment of some 282,774,000 francs to victims whose properties were destroyed due to ongoing construction work along the Yaoundé-Simalène motorway. The payments, which is in its second phase, is as a result of the extension of 50 meters along both sides of the roads, 40 kilometers from Simalène. Some 127 persons were affected.
We are very thankful to President Paul Biya, the president of our country, because what he's doing is very good. He does everything to develop Cameroon and the inhabitants of our country. He has built the road, and now he's giving money for the population to build their houses.
While carrying out the compensation exercise in the presence of judicial, legal and financial authorities of the Mefu and Afamba Division, the senior divisional officer, Emmanuel Jigdent, called on all the victims to invest the money on durable projects.
People should retain that the state cannot forget them,
and they don't need to go to the road to ask what they have. The minister knows that we should come today to pay them. So what I advise them is to use goodly what they have.
The payments have come to calm down the tense atmosphere that reigned in the area, interrupting work for 3 days.
Now let's talk sports, where 17 referees and assistant referees of the Professional Football League of Cameroon have been suspended for professional lapses. The decision comes on the heels of the Canon Union Classico, during which the referee embarrassed spectators' misjudgment and misappreciation. Ben and Magana read through that decision and tells us more.
This foul against Union of Douala by Canon of Yaoundé, which would have been a penalty but flagrantly denied by the referee, becomes the last straw that paralyzed the camel. Such regrettable refereeing decisions have plagued the professional state of the league, and the powers that be at the league must stop its flow, else they become an anathema to its professional glory. Their first prerogative to rid the league of such refereeing misdemeanor was to put up a committee to study the cases reported. After the studious work, the committee proposed and the league temporarily suspended 17 referees and assistant referees for deliberately doing a bad job and faulting the results of some matches. Amanda Benjamin, a member of the committee to appoint referees, said last Sunday's bad judgment against Union was the unbearable act in the line of so many. Hence, the committee would send its findings to FECAFOOT, which federation will proceed to again study the files and pass the final judgment on the referees. But before then, these referees can't go down the pitches. Since the start of this championship, the Professional Football League in Cameroon is bent on giving a championship a great professional name. They signed a partnership with CRTV to broadcast most of the matches live and cannot allow anything to jeopardize this effort. The matches organized by the Professional Football League should be as professional as the ones organized, even in Europe.
And that's how we saw the 7 a.m. edition of the news this Thursday, and we'll meet you tomorrow 7 a.m. with the same pleasure.
Indeed, with the same pleasure. Maybe I'll add a touch of sweetness to that pleasure. Is it like what I'm holding, or
it's like what you're holding?
Oh, yeah, I got it right. Have a beautiful day.
Thank you.
And see you on Tuesday.
On Tuesday.
Okay. Now, let me send this beautiful lady out there with a song. It's called Meta Love. It's a song that will make you think of another one that Loco sang, but this one is from a different singer. It's just a little touch of it as well, though. Just enjoy.
Si tu penses que t'es bien avec un autre, s'il y a eu mieux que moi, vaut mieux que je le sache. But if you know that we could make it, girl, please don't let it break. Baby, please don't let me go. Better me touch me, you me think, oh. Better me touch me, you me think, oh. Better me touch me, you me think. Better me touch me, you me think. Better me touch me, you me think, oh. Jimmy, you me think. Jimmy, you me think. Jimmy, you me think. Touch me, you me think. Better me touch me.
if that's sounding like a remix, it is. It is actually meta romance, and it's something that is lying on the back of local sour romance. And somebody who knows that song very well is just near me, so we'll look at headlines. But before that, though, Bodu Sama, good morning. You were enjoying that song.
Indeed, I love that song so much.
You love it?
Yes.
Do you love the meta version?
I'm just discovering the meta version. I think I'm going to love it.
It's a beautiful song. It's a beautiful love song. But today we're looking at headlines, and there's a lot that you want to talk to us about.
There are many stories that do run through some newspapers that we have the opportunity to review this morning on Hello. As we begin our press review with today's edition of Signature newspaper that takes us to talk about social unrest in some regions and talks about how some of our streets are invaded by disgruntled workers, be they doctors or teachers or other staff of different parastatal who invade the streets to air out their grievances as to uncomfortable working conditions most of them find themselves in. What may just be some of these solutions to put an end to persistent or consistent strike actions noticed so far in some regions, be they in Douala or in Yaoundé. In this edition of Signature newspaper, get to read this investigative report published this morning. We leave that paper to talk about the latest edition of Le Quotidien L'Économie newspaper that takes us to talk about the Grand Senegal project. And the paper explains to us that effective work has started on the field as far as this Grand Senegal project is concerned. The company concerned already installed with the access road practicable so far for the different workers involved in this particular project, and basic work on land leveling and water septic tank installations already feasible in Komito, in the outskirts of Yaoundé. Read that story in the latest edition of Le Quotidien L'Économie newspaper. Emergence newspaper takes us to talk about social unrest in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon, with this call from the United Nations for the immediate release of Anglophone detainees, those arrested either in the northwest or southwest region in connection with the social unrest in these two English regions. The call comes from, it talks about the United Nations representative for Central Africa in the person of Francois Launceni Fall, who gave a press conference in Yaoundé yesterday. And one of the key points raised during that press conference was the call for the immediate release of those arrested in the northwest or southwest regions during the social unrest these two regions were subjected to recently. If it's a similar story, you can read in the latest edition or the weekend at the post-weekender, talking about United Nations finally wades into the Anglophone crisis. As per what is published in this edition of the post-weekender, it reads, it informs us that the UN, the representative of the United Nations, orders for the immediate release of arrested persons and the restoration of internet in the northwest and southwest regions, describes the situation in these two regions as deplorable, and says recommends the speedy implementation of government promises to satisfy disgruntled teachers and disgruntled lawyers in these two English-speaking regions. We end with the latest edition of the Guardian Post newspaper. It has a story on its front page still related to the Anglophone crisis. It says PCC debunks rumors of court summons for the moderator of the Presbyterian Church in Cameroon. We had widespread rumors that the moderator had been summoned to appear before the High Court in Boya, related connection with the Anglophone crisis. But as per what is published in the Guardian Post newspaper, authorities of the church debunk the rumors. They are mere rumors. It is not true. No summons has been officially handed over to the moderator to appear before the High Court in Boya.
Thank you very much, Bodu Sama. I was just going through one of the papers, and I'm reading that in Gambia, a female lawyer has been elected speaker in the parliament. That is in one of the papers of today. And in case you're wondering which, just go out and get yourself in front of those kiosks and read all of them, and you'll probably fall on one of those papers. Thank you so much for coming.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
And a mango, would you like one?
Mango, no. Banana, no. Watermelon,
mango, no. Banana, no. Watermelon, Don't worry. Maybe he's worried about diabetes, okay? Bodu Sama, thank you so much, though.
You're welcome.
And see you on Tuesday.
God willing.
Meantime, have a beautiful weekend in between.
A better happy Easter weekend to you.
Thank you. A happy Hallelujah weekend to all of you watching us. Now let's talk health. There is a doctor standing by, Dr. Rene Mulium, who's talking to us about diabetes. In last week's program, he talked about diabetes in children, and right now he's going to be talking about diabetes in adults, how you should care for yourself and care for relatives who are patients of diabetes. Here we go.
This is frequent. At the beginning they were thinking that diabetes is a disease of rich people. It's a disease found in Europe. But now we realize that the incidence of diabetes is even more in Africa than in Europe. In Europe they want to live like us, but now in Africa we want to live like in Europe. I have nothing against the bike, but the problem is usually this phenomenon of bike. People like bikes, people don't move, people don't do exercise, people like to eat fried food and so on. That is what increase the weight and have and at that level the population have the risk of developing diabetes. A normal person should take 1.5 to 2 liters per day. But if you are drinking more than 3-5 liters per day, you should draw your attention to know that there is something happening. And when you drink a lot of water, you should also urinate a lot. That means you see a patient who is going, or somebody who is going to the toilet every 15 to 30 minutes, that is not normal. You have frequent urination, you have drinking a lot of water, you have somebody who is eating normally but who is losing weight. Normally when you eat normally, your weight have to be maintained or increased. And sometimes the patient will feel dizziness, blurred vision, and some men will complain of erectile dysfunction. That means reduce of the sexual function. And some women will be complaining of some vaginal problem. Diabetes is the only disease who create complications. We are afraid of diabetes because of complications. And what we are doing on the prevention of diabetes is mostly to tackle the complications. We can give complications on the eye, you can become blind. Can give complications on the heart, you can have heart failure. On the brain, you can have stroke. It can affect the sexual part, I can say you can have kidney failure, you can have a wound who will not heal fast. So all those problems are due to the diabetes, and it is due to the degradation of the blood vessel. Before we reach the level of advice and maybe treatment, we have to talk a little bit about prevention. Because in diabetes, we are doing prevention at 3 levels. We have prevention at the first level, that means those who don't have diabetes not to develop diabetes, those who have diabetes not to develop complications, and those who have complications to have a peaceful death. So on the treatment of diabetes is the domain of the doctor. But you don't talk of treatment, sometimes you talk of management. And on the management of diabetes, we have 4 stages. We take it like a table with a chair. That is how we said it to the patient. If you are seated on a chair with 4 legs, you have, if the chair have, if you remove 1 leg, it will be difficult to sit. But if you remove 2 legs, I think it will be more difficult. And if you remove 3 legs, it will be, I think, impossible to sit on that chair. So the 4 level, the first level is education. We educate diabetic patients, we educate the population on diabetes. As I said, they have to do exercise, they have to change their mode of living. That means lifestyle modification. We have to eat healthy, we have to do exercise. The first is education. The second is to do exercise to lose weight. The third is, I'm talking about education, eating well, doing exercise. That they don't pay. That's what we are saying. To do exercise, to eat well, and to do exercise, that one is not paid. The 4th one is medication, and medication is the domain of the doctor. So we advise patients to eat healthy, reduce oil, reduce salt, reduce meat, reduce sugar. For those who are not diabetes, those who are diabetes, we stop sugar, we reduce oil, reduce meat, and do some exercise. Diabetes is not contagious. So if you have your spouse, the spouse should not be afraid of developing diabetes. But diabetes is genetic. If one parent have diabetes, the children have 50% of chances unlocked to develop diabetes. But if the 2 parents have diabetes, the child have around 99% of chances of developing diabetes. Maybe it's a word, it's not contagious, It's not transmissible, but it's genetic. Concerning the environment of the patient, especially type 1, we did not define it before. When you have a Taiwan child, Taiwan patient in the family, especially the children, you have to support them. Those are the children who have to inject themselves for life. So they have to be supported, to advise them to check their blood sugar on time, to take their medication on time, and mostly to inject themselves. And for those who have type 2 or like type 1, the environment have to be aware. You should know the sign and symptom of hypoglycemia. That means when the blood sugar is low. Because if the blood sugar is low and the patient stay in the stage of coma for long, it can lose the function of the brain. So the immediate environment of the patient should know the sign of hypoglycemia. That means if you are with somebody, if you are with a patient in the house and you suddenly realize that he's not talking, he's sweating, and now you have to ask question if he has taken his food. If you have not taken his food, what we have to do is to encourage him to take his food. And if the patient is already going in the stage of coma, we advise the immediate entourage to give him sugar. So if you have your patient who is going into hypo, what to do is, if you can check the blood sugar very fast, you do it. If it is low, you start by giving some 2 or 3 cubes of sugar and look for the food rapidly so that the patient can eat and the blood sugar will increase.
Dr. Rene Mulium, thank you so much for enlightening us about diabetes. Now you know it's not fatal. It's definitely something you need to check out and maintain, know how to live with it. But of course, you have people like Dr. Rene Mulium and many other doctors around the country who are willing to look into your case and help you keep that smile on your face. Health is worth knowing, health issues is worth knowing. Health issues are worth knowing. There are some mornings like that, maybe because it rained so much on me this morning. That's why I'm still in the haze. Okay, don't worry. I'm back to you. We were asking whether it's a boy or it's a girl. When a woman goes into labor and then she goes into that room and they close and everybody is outside waiting, is it a boy or a girl? Which one will you prefer if you are in that kind of situation? The messages have been flooding. I didn't know this was a topic that people like to talk about. But we'll be reading them. We'll read each and every one of them. But before, I want us to talk to Charles Ebune, who is right here and who is still struggling to take off his, should I say his sweater? Charles, good morning.
Good morning, Pochi.
How are you?
I'm fine.
We're talking about Syria today.
Sure.
And, but it looks like you walk under the rain.
Sure, if you are coming to Yaoundé
Can
this
I help
morning,
you with that jacket?
If you are coming to Yaoundé this morning, you should be double dressed.
Yes, you absolutely should.
You should look like me this morning. But
can I help you though?
Sure.
Don't worry. I know you need to pet these men. Charles Ebune, can you stop making noise and just tell me? Let me keep this.
Of course.
We're talking about Syria today.
Yeah.
And renewed efforts, I should say so, to bring peace to that country.
Absolutely, it is a country which has seen 5 million people displaced after roughly 6 years of conflict, with plus 900,000 people dead. And this is a conflict which is one of the spin-overs of the Arab Spring. As you'll be seeing shortly in those images, Syria is almost a destroyed country. And the latest move yesterday at the United Nations Security Council included drawing up a resolution to condemn the attacks that led at least 89 people dead on the 4th of April in the province of Idlib, in which the international community suspected the use of chemical weapons. But in one of the most cynical elements of international relations, while the U.S. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson was in Moscow being received by President Vladimir Putin and Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, they all agreed that there should be an international investigation to ensure that a proper conduct of investigation is done of what happened. But this is an idea from the Russians. But unfortunately, at the United Nations Security Council yesterday, while the Russians were calling for an international investigation in Syria, at the same time at the UN Security Council, they blocked a resolution That is what international relations means. You say something and you do the other one. And this comes after a series of meetings by G7 country members in Italy to draw up a common strategy to bring peace to Syria, which of course has seen countless people die, producing so many refugees. Syria is a very difficult question to handle.
It is more difficult because when you look at those dead, of course, overall, women and children, only the most vulnerable die first and continue to die. Yet the world is watching and playing ping pong. You know, international relations is so interesting, but in Cameroon we'll call it, it's a simple name, Bafia dance.
Let me just explain to our audience, because this is the eighth time that the Russians were blocking a UN resolution. Why is Russia so keen in protecting Bashar al-Assad, whom Donald Trump simply described yesterday as
demonic,
a butcher?
He also said it's a demonic figure.
One, for military purposes. In 1971, the Russians signed a military agreement with the Syrian government at the time to provide them a naval base in the Mediterranean, and it is based in Tartu, which is a Syrian territory. Now, after the collapse of the Soviet Union, this is the only Russian military base outside ex-Soviet Union territory, which gives access to Russia in the Mediterranean Sea. The moment you have a pro-Western government in Syria, that military agreement will be revoked. And President Putin doesn't want to risk that. Second, in 1946, when the French were withdrawing for the proclamation of the independence of Syria, Russia was the sole guarantor of the independence and security of Syria. So, from the naissance, if you like to use that word, from the beginning of Syria, Russia has always been on their side. Just like 15 minutes after the declaration of the State of Israel in 1948, the United States of America recognized it. That is why the bonds are just so high. And the last reason why the Russians say no to regime change in Syria is the episode in Libya and the episode in Iraq. After the departure of Saddam Hussein and the departure of Gaddafi, in which they abstained at the UN, after the Americans and the Western Alliance, the Transatlantic Alliance, had said we were going to ensure that everything happens peacefully, it turned out to be very, very chaotic. And the Russians have said, in short, one close aide to President Putin told me that what happens in Libya will never happen again. By implication, Bashar al-Assad will not live.
Yes.
Except there is an open military confrontation.
You use the word chaos, and I just want to say, and the chaos continues.
Chaos
sadly.
continues.
Charles Ebune, thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.
Do you need me to hand over your... Oh, come on, Charles. Give me to me. Naughty boy. This is my special touch that reminds, it's here to remind me constantly of the people who eat achu. You'll be surprised. Achu is eaten in almost all parts of Cameroon. So this is a representation of that.
Are you sure?
Charles Ebune, bye-bye. Have you ever been to Libudi? It's a place here in the center region. Do you know about Libudi?
I've heard, but I've not been there.
Right. Let me take you to Libudi in this report that's coming from
a poor
one
Cameroonian
of
tourist,
our
internal
colleagues.
tourist.
You are a poor tourist who travels around the world, except in the region where he works. Now let's go to Libudi with a colleague from the center region.
Lebudi is a village in Okola subdivision in the Leke division of the Central region. Situated along the Nkolbisong-Okola stretch of roads, its inhabitants are mostly farmers, while a few of them are involved in petty trading. Lebudi is known for the sale of wood and palm wine. In Lebudi village, one could see children getting ready for school while parents go to the farm and markets, which comprises their daily activities as early as 4 a.m. However, their day is also marked by the usual rendezvous at one palm wine spot around the Libudi Junction. 35-year-old Ntin Tanga is a bike rider resident in Lebudi but works in Mokolo Market in Yaoundé.
J'habite à Lebudi, mais je travaille à Mokolo. Mon travail,
I usually get up early and prepare the children for school. By 6:30 a.m., I drop them in school. After that, I take a bottle of palm wine. As you see, I am a bike rider who works in Mokolo Market. I do a daily contribution of 3,000 francs. At the end of the day, I evaluate the day's activities together with my children.
Quand je rentre le soir, je m'assois avec ma famille.
Lebudi has evolved in the past 50 years. It was initially a very small village. Today, it has basic amenities like motorable roads, electricity, and pipe-borne water. In our discovery page of Ebudi, we caught up with Etogojan, born in 1941 in Lebudi, and he is physically challenged due to his activities of palm wine tapping.
Je suis né le 7 mai 1941 ici.
I was born here and my father sent me to school. I dropped out of school due to financial constraints. Later, I started climbing palm trees to fetch for palm wine. When I climb and fall, I don't give up. Money from the palm wine enabled me get my wife. We have 12 children. Lebudi has developed. I am now old and I cannot do anything again as a young man.
J'ai tracassé, je ne peux plus faire quelque chose. Même les champs, je ne vais plus au champ.
Most of the palm wine sellers in Lebudi trek for kilometers to buy the palm wine from tappers situated in the interior of the village.
I set my alarm at 3 a.m. to go buy palm wine. Where I buy, it's a bit far from this place, but by 7 a.m. I'm always here to sell.
Plantains, wood, and cocoyams, amongst others, are the things bought from the Lebudi markets by retailers at cheaper prices and sold in some markets in Yaoundé. Youths involved in the informal sector keep themselves busy with Songo, a traditional game, as they wish for brighter days ahead.
Thank you so much. That's a very beautiful discovery of Lebudi, and you should take a walk or move there for fresh palm wine if you're in the city of Yaoundé. I'm actually thinking of doing that myself. Now let's take a flight to the United States of America. It's my singular pleasure to introduce to you a boy called Kevin Bongang. He is from Cameroon and he's been in the USA for a very long time, and he got into painting, and he's been into he's a muralist, you can call, like he does wall paintings, and we caught him doing some, and he's happy to tell us about him. This is a boy who makes 237 proud. Please just discover with us.
I've always had an interest in art. I can remember as a young kid, my mom just letting me have as much fun in my room as possible. I was doodling on walls at the age of 4. I really have my parents to thank for the opportunity to just be able to create. Art has always been somewhat of a refuge for me. How I work on my problems sometimes. Just being able to go out and create, especially walls. You're able to just hop on there and be a kid, which is what I really enjoy about doing murals. A lot lot of times I don't ever know what the end process is going to be. I just keep pushing, stepping back, and trying to see what the wall is telling me, you know? So I was born in Cameroon, West Africa. I got out here when I was pretty young. I still have very vivid memories of my childhood. I was very inspired by African art, mark making, print making, woodcuts. I was able to just explore that facet. These masks that represented so much more than just ornament. That's where I get a lot of my visual inspiration from. Making a living as an artist is somewhat tricky. I currently work in the corporate world, and then once I get off of work, I'm able to create and do what I do. And if you want it bad enough, you're going to invest those hours after you clock out of your regular job to just make it happen, you know? The reason why I do murals, it's amazing the response you get from a community, whether it's people taking photo ops. I've had a few people get married in front of my murals. That's like a piece of history right there for somebody. And just the fact that my art was able to be part of it, people I do not know have reached out to me and really shown a lot of love for my work. That's the overall joy I get from doing it. And also as I'm working out here, I get to meet all types of people. You just never know who you might talk to and form a connection and a brand new friendship.
Kevin Bongang, he does murals, wall painting, if you like. And as you heard him say himself, sometimes people just come and get married. Like they do their wedding in front of his murals because they are so beautiful. We like people who bring joy, who bring smiles, and who bring good cheer. And we hope you're enjoying Hello Cameroon, and we are. If you have something exceptional happening around you, or you've met somebody who makes you say, wow, contact us. That's our business, to showcase people who make 237 proud and who make the world proud as well. Let me read some of your messages. We had so many of them coming in. This is from Mbacham Antha. She says she's from the Southwest. For me, a child, whether a boy or a girl, is a gift from God. I think you say any of them, it's all right. And Mr. Brainy Fonsu Limbe says both of them are important, but a true African man would tell you, I see where you're going to, let me read this. A true African man would tell you that a man without a male child is like a tree without roots. Huh? Mr. Brainy Fonsu in Limbe. Okay, we heard, I heard. This is coming from Quinty Mike in Bamenda. A child is a child, and no one is God to decide on what sex he or she wants, and no all comes from God. There are so many of those messages that we're going to read, but please feel free, tell us what you think, and we'll read them. If you're new to the game, I don't know the number anymore. If you are not new, then you know the number. Send to us and we'll read shortly before the program goes, before we round off the program. Now let's go to our guest. Our main guest on the program today is a journalist who's been working for more than 20 years as a journalist and in different media houses. Moki Edwin Kinzeka met him and had a chat with him. Here's an excerpt.
Matthew Allen Robbins, welcome.
Sean, thank you.
I just want to ask you a fundamental question. When UNESCO says that we need critical journalists at this critical time, why that? What is critical?
Critical means who's able to filter, who's able to ask questions, and who's able to hold to account the powerful people who are trying to influence the media in the current day, and who are trying increasingly with fake news and through new tricks we're finding to influence the agenda in their own direction and to corrupt the media as we've known it for several years.
Well, you just raised one of the issues which is dominant in the global media landscape today, and that has to do with fake news.
Absolutely.
Why is it so rampant?
It's a new trick. There's always been propaganda, There's always been misinformation. These are not new things. These have been around certainly through the 20th century, if not before. One phenomenon that's facilitated fake news has been the arrival of the internet and social media, because it makes it very difficult to know where news is coming from. There's a lot of information out there. There's a lot of false information out there, and people don't know where it's coming from, and it's very difficult for your average internet user or social media user to be able to filter what's true from what's contrived or manufactured. And that comes back to what UNESCO was saying about needing to be critical as journalists, and not just accepting information, be it from other journalists, be it from social media, or be it from anywhere. For example, there have been several instances where videos have been sent to journalists purporting to show one conflict, which have then been found to be several years old and showing a different conflict. And this is becoming an increasing pressure for journalists. You have two dynamics going on right now in the press. You have an increasing amount of information being subjected to, being sent to news organizations, and that journalists have to sift through. And that's combined with a period where lots of news organizations have been under more and more pressure and have been having to reduce the number of staff. Which means you've in many ways, you've got the perfect storm of a lot of very false information with very few journalists who have less and less time to be critical about it and to evaluate it.
You understand that at least 1.5 billion people in the world are subscribed to Facebook.
Absolutely.
Roughly 18 million of them are on Facebook every minute.
Yep.
You have about 500,000 people who are subscribed, 500 million people who are subscribed to Snapchat and other fora around the world. Children in particular are web savvy, but they are not web information savvy. What should governments be doing across the world today for them to establish platforms where children get the possibility of distinguishing correct news from false news?
That's a very, very difficult question. I think there are several questions in that. One question is whether it's the role of the governments to be doing this. It's very difficult because the internet is such an international web. Is there really that much a government can actually do to filter information? The second point I'd like to bring up is that it's not just children who are having trouble discerning fake news from real news. Adults, sometimes journalists, are having trouble discerning fake news from real news in recent time. So if the journalist and the adult can't discern the real news from the fake news, how exactly is the government going to do it in time to then decide what children can see and what they can't see? An additional danger, of course, is that governments have agendas. And so allowing a government to filter what people can see to keep out fake news from real news could possibly, in some instances, be used as an excuse to remove news that just isn't convenient to them. So it's a very difficult question.
You realize that, especially since President Donald Trump came to power, especially since the populist movement has been succeeding in making electoral gains around the world, the traditional media has been so much under pressure that they are not with the people, that they are serving particular interest groups.
Yes.
Let me put this question to you. Should journalists be supportive of causes, or where should they find themselves in conflicting situations where the people may be making a popular demand and they realize that the journalist is not backing them, he's simply doing his job. Even what they are giving is wrong, but they expect that journalist to back him. Where should that journalist be found in the world of today?
That journalist has a job to do, and the one thing the journalist has is credibility. The journalist is not there to represent the people. Clearly he writes for the people, he writes for his readers, but his job is to provide accurate information. His job is to be the person looking at the people who are being influenced by fake news and telling them whether or not they listen, but trying to tell them what's real. That's the job of the journalist. It's not an easy job, and it's not easy for a journalist to necessarily always be the most popular person, and arguably a journalist shouldn't be trying to be the most popular person, they should be trying to be the most trusted person. And even if it takes 2-3 years, when people realise the news was fake and that the journalist was right, for them to be trusted, it'll take that time for them to be vindicated.
Let me bring the question to a very local environment. We are in a conflict zone, or where two protagonists are existing. Let me just take the case of a conflict, and you see people dying on one side. As a journalist, let me take for example, can a journalist take a group of people who are dying under his protection, put them on his journalism jacket and take them across and then forget the other group of people? Should that be done?
That undermines the journalist's reputation for objectivity, despite the fact that as a human being, it's very tempting to try to save people in need. It's one of the biggest and most difficult situations for a journalist to be in. A journalist is like the Red Cross. He needs to be able to go from one zone of the conflict to the other zone of the conflict to report them in a balanced way. And becoming involved in a way that could be perceived by the other side as supporting one of the parties in the conflict.
There is a conflict between Christians and Muslims, and then Christians are in the upper situation of winning the war and killing Muslims. Can a journalist take and cross with a Muslim child to save the life of that child?
That's for every journalist to decide. The journalist school answer is no, the journalist should record what's happening and be objective. The human being answer, my human being answer is do what you can to help people. That is for every individual journalist and their conscience to decide. I can't make that decision for them.
British Interior Minister Amber
Rudd
has clearly stated that after the London attacks, that governments should have the possibility of having access to media platforms like WhatsApp, which is doing encryption, because according to her, terrorists are using this as a safe zone to carry their operations today. You have one of the co-founders of the World Wide Web, Berners-Lee, who says that no, this is against privacy laws.
Yes.
How should that media discussion be handled today?
It is an extension of one of the longest discussions that has been going on between governments and their people. What's more important? What kind of society do you want to live in? Do you want to live in a safe society at the expense of freedom, or do you want to live in a free society potentially at the expense of some safety? And that's something I can't answer for other people. My personal view is that freedom is more important than security. In other words, to me, people being private, having access to privacy, and not being overly monitored by the government is more important.
Of Apple and the U.S. government.
Absolutely.
When the San Bernardino incidents occurred in the U.S.
Absolutely.
Should the cloud be opened?
Here's the problem, the potential problem. Once you grant government access to people's WhatsApp account, be it on the best pretenses, how much do you trust the government to not overstep the mark?
I want to put this question to you because of your long years of experience in journalism. Here is a journalist who is found with explosives in his bag. He is arrested by government authorities and detained. He is not arrested on the basis that he wrote an article which attacked the system or exposed any element, say corruption. If you were a member of the International Committee for the Protection of Journalists, How would you handle such a case?
Well, that's a very interesting one. I do have friends who are with organisations like Reporters Sans Frontières who look at these things and are much better informed than I am on the issues. I'm not a judge. I don't know enough about the situation you've described to take a view. Why, again, someone carrying explosives is breaking the law. I always teach journalists to not break the law of the country they're operating in. The easiest way to get yourself closed down and to get your freedom of speech taken away is to get arrested. So it's a more complex situation than we're able to discuss over this Sabbath. It's not an easy one. Someone carrying explosives, someone carrying a gun is breaking a law. And I would leave that to the judges. If that's why they were arrested and not because of what they wrote, that's an issue, in my mind, just as my personal opinion, for the justice system to decide on. By all means, if that's a sufficient justification, let's say they were testing the system. I've seen often journalists slip explosives onto planes to write an article showing that security systems don't work. Okay, I think this was in the UK. A journalist got either real explosive or fake explosives that looked real onto a plane to say, hello, the security at this airport isn't good. Look, I, journalist, was able to get through. Okay, that is one situation where it might be justified, but otherwise, why would a journalist be carrying explosives and a gun?
Matthew, do you have a particular message for African journalists?
You have a very tough job. You are in a very under-resourced area. You're under a lot of pressure. But keep the belief, keep pushing. Journalism is a vocation. You're not in it for the money. You're in it to help to make the world a better place, to help hold people to account, and to help showing your readers where things are going wrong so that people can then make them right. And that's a very difficult job because people often try to hide it. So I admire African journalists.
Matthew Allen Robbins, former journalist with The Independent, former journalist with Bloomberg, and former journalist with Reuters. I want to thank you very much for talking to us.
It was my pleasure. Thank you very much for having the time for me.
You're welcome.
Charles Abune one-on-one there with a very experienced journalist. That was an insight likely we rarely have into the world of journalism. Thank you very much. Now it's 8 o'clock and Marie-Laurence K is right here. It's the time when we get you informed about what's been happening in and around the country in the French language this time.
Madame, Monsieur, bonjour et bienvenue aux 8h sur la CRTV. À la une de l'actualité de ce jour, le ministre de la Santé publique, président du Comité national de lutte contre le sida, préside aujourd'hui, et ce sera dès 9h, ici même à Yaoundé, la cérémonie de lancement officiel de l'enquête auprès des ménages pour l'évaluation de l'impact du VIH-sida. La commission de délivrance de la carte de presse tient les travaux de sa première session de l'exercice aujourd'hui à Yaoundé et ce sera tout à l'heure à 9h dans la salle de conférence du ministère de la Communication. Occasion d'examiner les dossiers d'attribution de la carte de presse pour les hommes des médias. Une campagne de dépistage gratuite des affections liées à la vue des conducteurs automobiles se tient ce jeudi dès 10h à l'esplanade du ministère des Transports. Elle se poursuivra dans les prochains jours dans les autres régions. Le couple présidentiel a regagné le Bercail hier après la visite d'État effectuée en Italie et la visite officielle au Vatican, séjour qui a permis au chef de l'État camerounais de nouer des relations plus solides avec l'Italie, en même temps qu'il a mis en relief la relation singulière entre le Cameroun et le Saint-Siège. Suivons le reportage de Yves-Marc Medio.
Il a gardé intacte sa capacité à lever les foules. Et ce mercredi 12 avril 2017 en Simalène, il s'apprête une fois de plus à en apporter la preuve. Trêve de conjecture, le président Paul Biya est de retour au Bercail après avoir séjourné dans la ville éternelle. D'abord dans le cadre d'une visite d'État, puis dans le cadre d'une visite officielle. L'avion spécial qui le ramène est le même qui l'a conduit à Rome. À ses côtés, la première dame du Cameroun, Chantal Biya, qui aura été de toutes les étapes ou presque durant ce séjour. L'accueil réservé à Paul et Chantal Biya à leur descente d'avion est un mélange de chaleur, de ferveur et de solennité. Aux avant-postes, Marcel Niad-Difenji, le président du Sénat, à la tête d'un parterre distingué de personnalités camerounaises et étrangères. Parmi les présences significatives, celle du nonce apostolique au Cameroun et en Guinée équatoriale, Monseigneur Piero Piopo, et celle de l'ambassadrice de la République d'Italie au Cameroun, son Excellence Samuela Isopi. La présence de ces deux personnalités ce 12 avril 2017 en Simalé n'a rien de fortuit. Le président camerounais a en effet séjourné dans leur pays d'attache, en visite d'État au pays de Sergio Mattarella et en visite officielle au Saint-Siège. Deux visites d'égale importance qui ont permis l'une de consolider le compagnonnage fructueux entre le Cameroun et la République italienne, et l'autre de pérenniser la longue histoire d'amitié et d'intimité entre le président Biya et le pape François. Et c'est, on l'imagine bien, les souvenirs de ces deux récentes visites qui seront ressassés lors de la série d'audiences que le président Biya va accorder en premier aux représentants du Saint-Siège dans notre pays et à l'ambassadrice Samuela Isopi. Place ensuite aux préoccupations liées à l'activité parlementaire que le président Biya évoque successivement en compagnie du président du Sénat, Marcel Niad-Difenji, puis de Kava Yege Djibril, le président de l'Assemblée nationale. En effet, ce retour au bercail de Paul et Chantal Biya coïncide avec la fin, quelques heures plus tôt, des travaux de la première session de l'année législative en cours au Parlement. Une session marquée notamment par l'examen et l'adoption d'une demi-douzaine de projets de loi et des prises de position fortes des présidents des deux augustes chambres sur la vie de la nation. Avec le Premier ministre chef du gouvernement, Philémon Yan, et le ministre secrétaire général de la présidence de la République, Ferdinand Ngongo, qu'il reçoit en audience par la suite, l'animation et la coordination de l'action gouvernementale vont meubler les échanges. Pendant ce temps, dans un salon voisin, la première dame Chantal Biya est occupée à partager quelques souvenirs de voyage avec les épouses de proches collaborateurs du président de la République, venus lui souhaiter un bon retour au bercail. Une heure entière s'est déjà écoulée lorsque le président de la République met un terme à ses entretiens avec les représentants des différents corps de l'État pour regagner sa limousine, direction le palais de l'Unité. Au départ de Simalène comme à l'arrivée à l'entrée du palais présidentiel, une foule en liesse qui ne cache pas son bonheur de revoir son président.
Choc et émotion en Kolbogo, localité située dans l'arrondissement de Sass et dans la Léké, région du centre. Un mort et d'importants dégâts matériels, c'est le premier bilan enregistré à la suite des fortes averses qui se sont abattues sur cette localité. Après le drame, la vie reprend peu à peu et notre reporter Mohamed Nana revient de Kolbogo. Je vous invite à suivre son reportage.
Tout un village meurtri après un orage violent. En quelques heures, Nkolbogo a subi les affres du ciel. Les arbres déracinés sous la pression de fortes rafales de vent ont fait une victime.
La grande sœur est rentrée de la rivière. Il y a un arbre là qui s'est écroulé. Voulant donc fuir, l'avocatier s'écroule aussi. Et pendant ce temps, que ma nièce est donc descendue, elle voulait aussi aller à l'eau, à la rivière. Elle trouvait donc le foulard accroché là. Elle regarde, elle trouve le blouson étant là à côté. Quand elle regarde de l'autre côté, elle trouve que sa tante est là, étant déjà morte.
Au village, les images sont tout aussi choquantes que troublantes. Le regard hagard des enfants, l'anxiété et la douleur des adultes face à l'étendue des dégâts. Venant, ainsi que ses 6 petits-fils, n'ont plus de toit. De leur maison, il ne reste que ces ruines.
J'ai fui avec mes enfants. Quand je descendais, j'ai vu ma toiture en route. Vous voyez, ma toiture, moi-même j'ai vu comment ma toiture quitte en route.
Timothée est un miraculé. Cet octogénaire, pris au piège et décombres durant toute une nuit, a eu la vie sauve grâce au secours du voisinage.
Une forte pluie s'est abattue, j'étais sous les décombres toute la nuit, les gens ont même cru que j'étais mort. Je dois gérer la dépouille de mon épouse et je souhaite que le gouvernement m'aide.
Même le lieu du culte du village n'a pas été épargné. Certains ménages sont à ce jour privés d'énergie électrique. Kolbogo, d'ordinaire coloré et animé, fait grise mine aujourd'hui. Les lentes et pénibles reconstructions ont déjà débuté. La population scrute le ciel, la peur de nouvelles pluies est dans toutes les têtes.
Quelques soulagements pour les personnes délogées dans le projet de construction de l'autoroute Yaoundé-Nsimalen. Elles ont reçu hier une somme globale de 283 millions de francs CFA au titre des indemnisations relatives à l'installation de l'autoroute dans le tronçon de l'arrondissement de Mfou, c'est dans la Moufouya-Famba, région du centre. Suivons le reportage de Philippe Roger et Sama de CRTV Centre.
L'opération s'est voulue sobre mais conduite dans un esprit républicain. Le mot de bienvenue du chef de village Nsimalen introduit cette rencontre qui n'avait pas de place pour les discours. Le préfet de la Moufouya Famba rappelle la volonté du chef de l'État de faire du Cameroun un pays émergent et respectueux des droits des citoyens.
Nous sommes en train de payer les indemnisations suite à une déclaration d'utilité publique pour les travaux d'extension de l'emprise de l'autoroute Yaoundé-Nsimalen. Le Cameroun est un État de droit. Lorsque les populations sont expropriées pour cause d'utilité publique, l'État a toujours eu à indemniser.
La liste des bénéficiaires est une copie conforme du décret du Premier ministre chef du gouvernement signé en décembre 2015. Pour le paiement de ces frais d'indemnisation, les montants oscillent entre 16 500 et 38 530 000 francs CFA.
Je suis content par rapport aux gens, à tous les bénéficiaires, parce qu'ils attendaient ça depuis.
Nous voulons remercier le gouvernement pour ce geste de compréhension qu'il a bien voulu avoir à l'endroit de ces populations que nous sommes.
Parole a été donnée au procureur de la République pour rappeler les dispositions des articles 157 et 230 du Code pénal portant entrave sur la voie publique et relative au non-respect des injonctions d'une autorité. Les populations ont compris qu'elles ont eu tort de manifester bruyamment quelques semaines auparavant pour revendiquer ces droits qui étaient en réalité un acquis.
Ce jeudi est jeudi saint et c'est le début du Triduum pascal. Les préparatifs vont bon train dans les églises, côté religion. Dans nos marchés et grandes surfaces, l'on se prépare également d'une autre manière pour la fête de Pâques. L'une des traditions qui entre peu à peu dans nos mœurs, ce sont les œufs de Pâques et d'autres friandises fourrées au chocolat que l'on retrouve sur les grandes surfaces. Régine Gladys Lobouda a fait quelques magasins. Suivons son reportage.
Question au hasard des rues de Yaoundé. Connaissez-vous les œufs de Pâques?
Je ne connais même pas, c'est ma première fois de suivre ça. Œufs de Pâques, bon, quand moi je suis œufs de Pâques, je sais que bon, c'est un peu, peut-être ça doit être de l'église, non?
Les œufs de Pâques? Moi je sais que nous avons les œufs en Afrique, au Cameroun principalement. C'est pour faire les omelettes ou alors faire autre chose. Les œufs de Pâques, bon, aucune idée, peut-être parce que nous sommes à la période pascale, que vous allez nous donner un nouveau nom. Ça, c'est nouveau, ça.
Bizarrerie pour certains, les œufs de Pâques pourtant ont déjà investi les supermarchés. Ici, impossible de louper le rayon fleuri d'œufs nappés de sucre et de lapins chocolatés. Les stocks sont même doublés pour satisfaire le plus grand nombre.
L'année dernière, où c'était fini, on a eu des plaintes de clients. Nous essayons de répondre aux besoins.
Surtout que la tradition attire de plus en plus de parents. Distribuer les œufs de Pâques aux plus jeunes est même devenu un rituel dans plusieurs familles.
Quand Pâques arrive, on sait que bon, à Pâques, c'est les œufs de Pâques. À Noël, c'est la bûche de Noël. Mais à Pâques, on sait que c'est les œufs de Pâques qu'on offre aux enfants.
Moi, j'ai une fille de 5 ans avec qui je pratique ça tout le temps. Donc, je prends 2 ou 3 amis et on vient dans un jardin dans lequel je dépose les œufs sur les arbres et sur les pots de fleurs. Et ils ramassent et on fait les petites vidéos de Pâques.
Œufs ou lapins, selon l'envie, la tradition symbolise surtout la renaissance et la fécondité portée par la résurrection du Christ. Déjà, le florilège de formes et de saveurs suggère une célébration pascale des plus gourmandes.
Madame, Monsieur, c'est la fin de ce journal. Merci de l'avoir suivi. Bon début du Triduum pascal. Je vous laisse en compagnie de Poché Tambasso pour la suite de Hello.
Thank you very much, Marie-Laurence K. And I'll see you again with much pleasure on Tuesday next week.
Oui, je te souhaite également bonne fête de Pâques.
Thank you, and have a hallelujah weekend.
Merci.
Let me put it that way. And, you know Michelle Obama, the former... Ah, okay. Well, what happens when Michelle Obama goes into a crowd of, we'll call them primary school children, who are having a kind of a ballet? You know what she does? She joins, and she's jumping, clapping, running around, and it gives a freestyle on Hello Cameroon. Please enjoy freestyle, ladies and gentlemen. Now, that's what happens when a first lady gets into the kids' kingdom and becomes one of the kids. Lovely, lovely Michelle Obama. Many people are missing her. I'm one of those, I hope. Mara, are you missing that lady?
Of course, I'm missing her. Everything you're saying, I'm really not looking. I was just looking at the top that she was wearing.
Oh.
So beautiful.
Yeah, and so so close, so free. So, you know, you wouldn't imagine that was about 2013, she was still in the White House. So, yeah. Well, it gave us a freestyle on Hello Cameroon and a moment to smile. And that moment needed to be, because Myra has settled here with a bomb. Goodness. Please sit tight. And if you need to get a screen for your young children, this is the moment. I'm telling you. Don't say we didn't tell you. Mara, today we're talking about men's underwear, but G-string for the men, right?
Yeah.
Oh, please, over to you, lady.
All right, good morning, guys.
By the way, all the camera persons in this room have come in front of the mic, in front of the screen, to see what Myra has brought. So let's go.
Pochi, this morning I come in peace. Don't make me look like I am some piece of trouble.
Where is my thermometer? Oh, boy.
Okay. But you have a mortar. You can pound with a pistol. Pound everything.
Let me hold this ready in case there is any need.
All right.
But there'll be no need.
There were a lot of reactions like that on my Facebook page when I actually threw it out.
So you have an audience.
And somebody came like, "Chai, Mara, now only you video cannot sing."
So you're doing it today. Don't worry, there's a PC in case there is need for. But no, right now she's still starting.
All right. Can we have the G-string for men? Can we go? All right. The first species of this G-string, but at that time nobody knew that they were going to be called G-strings, was when the first people habited the earth. We used to call them early men. And they actually wore something that had that kind of design. And definitely, as for thousands and thousands of years, of course, we've had something like that, only that it wasn't called the G-string. We've had traces of those in ancient Egypt, in Greek history, in the Roman Empire, and even in Japanese culture up till today. When they are wrestling, when there's traditional Japanese wrestling, they always have something that is like the G-string.
That's the protection, actually, to make sure no damage goes down.
To protect the penis and keep the male genitalia intact and well covered. All right, but this went on and on. But the first time that we had the modern G-string was around 1939, when the mayor of New York City, Aurelio Laguardia, said that it was high time that nude dancers started covering themselves a little bit more. And so in 1974, the first pair was created. But you all have to understand that there's one country on the planet that has seen its men and its women more than any other country in G-strings. That is Brazil. Hey, yes. They are so show and beautiful pieces and crafted, and most of the models that you're having on the screen, some of them are from Brazil. And I'll tell you something, Pochi, the United States actually came in, because a lot of people think that is an American thing, but they only...
When you were talking, I was about to say the United States, then, then I heard Brazil, and I'm like, okay.
It's Brazil instead. Right. And the United States got really injected in it in the 90s and made it a standard piece of lingerie, but they were the people that put full stop on it and say, hey, this thing is getting into a male and a female wardrobe. But you asked a lot of questions and you were like, why are men wearing G-strings anyway? Beauty T is here and maybe
he's sweating. So Beauty T is sweating, so let him settle down.
All right.
But is it for athletes? Is it for show, or is it a piece of underwear?
I'm coming. I went into a lot of websites, plus I have your Cameroonian comments as well. But let me start with those who are really traditional into the G-string. A lot of websites, some men said that it is the same feeling that women have when they wear G-strings, that they feel sexy in it. And there were videos, and I was really watching them explain, and they were really, really crazy. And another man said that just the way that you girls feel when you wear your body-hugging outfits, that is how he feels. That when the fabric touches him somewhere around the butt, he thinks that he can rock the world and be the best man he can ever be. That's what some other men said. And then some people say that it increases their bulge and kind of give them that urge that they can bring a house down and be very, very extraordinary. All right. Another one said it is like an eye candy for the showroom for a loved one.
Yeah.
When you're inviting them into the bedroom, that it's very titillating and very sensual. I don't know.
You know, Myra,
yeah.
you are from the part of town where they eat achu. You know, when you're near your mom and you're getting naughty, she just takes the pistol and she's like... Are you done?
I'm not. Please. But let me really tell you what. let me really tell you what brought this crazy enough in the limelight. It was Britney Spears, American star. For the first time, paparazzi had her. She had a jean pants, but there was a thong that was
hanging
a little
out.
bit overhead the cancer. that was upper and paparazzi. Well, it was the first time that America was seeing that in the open, and everybody went wild on it. And you had Cisco singing the thong song.
The thong song that became really
hot. It was because of things like this. But I would tell you that gone are those days where women say that the G-string is for the man and that it's a man thing. Others insist that it is also for foreplay.
It's for everybody. I was even meant to say that even in Cameroon, we know men out there who wear G-string. I mean,
I'm coming. Chill. Just hold on.
Titi, we don't know yet that you're
Titi,
here.
please,
because it's not entry.
Right, Myra, wrap up. Let's talk about it.
All right. Some men say that it is for foreplay, and somebody was like, he inboxed me and he was like, Myra, you girls strip for men all the time. So why do you think we can't strip for you too?
Oh, a man who strips for me.
You will be surprised. Listen, you all. You will be surprised to hear this. I went into a website of a celebrity coach, and he says that he would advise men to work out in G-strings because if that gives you like motivation to be fit, because if your body is not fit and well sculpted like the guys you had on the screen, you can't do.
You keep beating yourself until you get there.
So, Bird,
G stands for what?
In 5 seconds, you need to be out of here.
Girls. And it's only girls.
Mara, you got 5, 4, 3.
Okay.
They should have said strings.
You should be very careful. You guys should be very careful. Even women should be careful. The G-string is not something that you should run 24 hours with on you. Sometimes it's not really healthy and can be dangerous for your health. We have medical experts very clear on that one. So if it's for the showroom, it's good. But listen, I'll tell you something this morning. I wouldn't really mind a man in a G-string. I said it. Now wait.
I wouldn't as well. I mean, wow. I mean, come on.
I don't even know where they sell. I've not even seen
for
one
Pucci and
in
strip
Cameroon.
for Myra.
We
said it. Shoot us. Okay, well, but Myra, one of the things with G-string is that you want to know.
I just want to know what.
One of the things is that it's very expensive. Okay,
very share.
Please let's get a job first before you go stripping for somebody. Bill Titi, have you finished sweating?
You can moderate a debate.
No, but have you finished sweating though? Because you are like
no. G-strings was like it really made me get
hot.
No, I did not get it.
So okay, now that you're calming down, please give us the jobs. Just in case we need to buy those strings.
Good morning. I'm sure you're not going to buy a G-string, my brother. Go and buy your Nika or your Panda with your dross, not G-string.
Titi, please.
Okay, we're starting today with the office, the UN Office for Coordination on Humanitarian Affairs. That's the OCNH under the UN. That's the Office for Coordination and Humanitarian Affairs. They are looking for a National Information Management Officer to work in Marwa. That's for the UN systems. They say you must have a degree in information management, in statistics, disaster management, or in a social science field to apply for the post of a National Information Management Officer with the UN Coordination for Humanitarian Affairs in Marwa. You must, for those who have a first degree in the domains I've listed, you must have 3 years of work experience. If you have a master's, you need to have 2 years of work experience, and you must be bilingual. Now, to apply for the job, you go online following the link you should have on screen, because when you go through that link, you can get more detail on the job, on the vacancy, and of course the application procedures. It's jobs.partneragencies.net/recruit-jobs. If you go to your search engine and write job.partneragencies.net/recruit-jobs, you'll get the information I'm talking about here. I will get you this on my Facebook page. Let's go now to the Norwegian Refugee Council. They are looking for a logistics manager in Yaoundé. This is just, an international NGO from Norway. They're trying to reach to countries within the Congo Basin, and in their office in Yaoundé, they are looking for a logistics manager. They must have a degree in logistics and transport, 3 years of work experience, and you must be bilingual. To have the details and, of course, look for other jobs from the Norwegian Refugee Council, you just need to follow the link I'm going to give you, which you should find on the screen. Just go to your search engine, put JD. J can stand for John, D can stand for Derek. JD Logistics Manager Cameroon. When you just write that, JD Logistics Manager Cameroon, and click on your search, you're going to have the vacancy come out. It's going to come on, and then you have many other vacancies coming from the Norwegian Refugee Council for those who are Cameroonians and who want to work with the international NGO. Now, I'm coming back to this from the U.S. Embassy because many people have come to me on the details on the various vacancies we had from the U.S. Embassy, and I'm announcing that the U.S. Embassy is currently receiving applications for 3 vacancies: warehouse man, radio and telephone technician, and a human resource administrative assistant. For the warehouse man, you need to have at least the O-level certificate or the BAPC and 6 months of experience working as warehouse. Means that they say you're going to take care of their magazines, the furniture that's going to get in, those that go out, even other material that they get in their warehouse. You'll be there to manage the inventories. Now, for I said O levels and 6 years of work experience, you must be bilingual. 6 months of experience, not 6 years. You must be bilingual. For radio technician, you need to have a bachelor's degree in telecommunications with radio, telephone theories, with radio and telephone theories. Here, your experience is 5 years. Telecommunications, 5 years, you can apply for radio technician. For human resource administrative assistant, A levels or the baccalaureate, an experience in human resource management, or a degree plus 3 years of work experience in human resource management. Now, for you to get the details on these vacancies, you go to the U.S. Embassy website, which is usembassy@state.gov. They give you the information you need. usembassy@state.gov. You get all of that, and then you apply. Or even the application procedures and the email contact, just go to usembassy@state.gov. If you want to add more, just ask job opportunities from there. They'll get you that. So this is just to clarify on those who have been asking to get more. I've put this already on my Facebook page, the U.S. Embassy vacancies. I'll get the other 2, and of course, the additional one that's just coming from the International Rescue Committee on my Facebook page today. Good luck. So hoping you'll come back and testify.
And we'll be right here if you're coming to testify. Myra and Beauty T to send you out. Would you like something green, something red, something yellow?
Banana.
Oh, banana is very popular. Banana. I think people...
Myra
we need
has
to
always been my rival, even in what I eat.
Oh!
She will not tell what I'm
So this is about you, right?
Yeah.
The second one that Titi actually
But the truth is that every time I get my bananas from this place, Myra waits and ambushes me at the door to get my bananas. So
you see, they say men beat women. Sometimes women beat men. That's what is happening here.
Kochi,
yes.
would you like to hear what we'll talk about on Thursday?
What is that?
You know what?
I'm sure I'm not going to talk about men again.
Instead, let me take you people to Limbe. Mara, we were in Limbe for a beautiful event with green, red, yellow. I mean, I'm looking at the first pictures of what we're about to give you. It was really colorful, really beautiful. It's the Festac as it was starting, and it's still going on, and it will end on the 15th. And we'll be telling you a lot more about it on this program. But this is our first moment of Festac on Hello Cameroon.
It is the festival of all cultures. All cultures because even as it is holding in the city of Limbe, and its name says more than clearly that it is a thing of the Limbe people, the Limbe Festival of Arts and Culture, Festac, is indeed a moment of cultural affluence flowing from all the corners of the country and well beyond. For 1 week, and despite calls for boycott, culture lovers from different parts of the country and from other countries like Ghana, Benin, Togo and Nigeria have been storming the city of Limbe, the seaside resort city, for a chance to be part of the event. As the vision bearer of the festival, government delegate to the Limbe Urban Council, Andrew Motanga Munjimba, echoes at the opening of this year's event. Limbe is a city founded on diversity, and it is only natural that any cultural moment be a chance to celebrate diversity. 8 days, during which culture lovers are treated to all manners of artistic exuberance, beauty pageantry, carnival, canoe race, traditional wrestling, arts exhibition, and musical concerts, just to name these. This lady, who represents the people of the North, has been part of this festival more than once. She says it is a unique moment to mix with other cultures.
My name is Zainab Abdullahi. I belong to the group of Naral Iman, which means love and feelings for one another. It's a female group. We do enjoy it. Why? Because we are far from home. You know, when you are in a place where it is a mixed culture, like Melimbe, which is a metropolitan town, you know, you are far from your culture. When something like Festac is being organized and then we bring our culture near to us, we feel very happy.
Same with this man, who is head of the Wimbum people in the city of Limbe.
I'm Taba Eric, the president of Wimbum Cultural and Development Association, Limbe. I'm part of Festac because we are all Cameroonians. Today I came with the women dance of our culture, called the Nju dance. I just want to share that culture is one of the aspects that bring people together, and you discover many other aspect of life that other people do. So to me, culture is important. Wherever we are called, it's good to attend. It has made us to discover other people even living within the Limbe municipality. In fact, when I saw Benin people, Togo, I was surprised. And that makes us happy that we have other foreign countries within us.
For the community of people from the West, Festac 2017 offers a rare chance to sell cultures and celebrate origin.
I'm called Konchungepka Emmanuel. I am the coordinator of the West region here in Limbe and the focal point for the Festac 2017 in my region, West. We had to present two groups of royalties. You know, the Western region is made of two main tribes, the Bamileke tribes and the Bamun tribes. So we had one royal wagon which was made and led by the Kunki division for the Bamileke tribe, and the other one led by the chief of Bamun here, the Sultan's representative for the Bamun. We've shown how our king, our chiefs, how they come out, the necessary dance that accompany them. They are generally with their subjects, the notables, their wives, princess, and the warrior dance group that accompanies them. The Western region community have been living in this Limbe as a whole for a very long time, for more than a century. And so we are part and parcel, and we believe that we are part and parcel of it. That is why when this Festac is organized, for we culturally, it's a way of integration. It's bringing all the cultures together. We have to showcase what we have so that we also maintain the generations to come to know that although they are here and well established, they should not forget their culture.
My message is like this. We should be part, an entire part of what is going on in this municipality. So we know that this is Festac, and Festac is that the events that grouped all the possible residents in Limbe. So my message to my people is that whenever there is such occasion, we should be fully involved.
Till Festac 2018, they all say this has been an exceptional moment and have only smiles and good cheers.
And that event ends on the 15th, next Saturday. But right now we are right in the middle of the Holy Week. And one of the things you'll be hearing a lot is preparing for Easter, for the resurrection of Christ, or for the remembrance of the resurrection of Christ. And I want to talk about a hymn festival that's going to be taking place in honor of this moment. We have Bobit Alain, who's come to talk about Highest Praise International. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for coming on Hello Cameroon.
It's my pleasure. I'm happy and I come to Hello Cameroon to talk about this.
Tell me a little bit more first about Highest Praise International.
Highest Praise International is an organization which brings together different ministers from different churches, from the Christian setting to come together, get impacted, learn and know how to take out the ministry of praise and worship into the church and into the society.
Okay.
Not only, in singing and dancing, but in every form of art. That is what we do. And of course, we organize events, we organize programs that bring those people together, train them, and impact the lives of Christians better than just the singing of songs in churches. But we go out into the streets and we do things like that. So
you're having the 5th edition of this hymn festival.
Yes.
Where will it be? And give us an idea of how it's going to look like.
The hymn festival on its 5th edition, it's happening on Sunday the 16th of April at Campus Crusade, BMRC, in Yaoundé. But of course, every city where High Praise is located, like presently I'm talking to you now, our coordinator for Cameroon is in Dubai to be able to start up some people there with the same forum. So every Easter Sunday we are having this celebration, a hymn festival. So we'll be having different ministers, different singers coming from different churches to sing out, explore the world of hymns in an Easter season like this. It's as good as Christmas.
It already sounds like Christmas, especially if in the background we're talking about chocolate and the egg you need to look for. It's all festivity.
Exactly.
So what will be your invitation word? What will you say to invite people to come for this moment of praise and singing and enjoyment?
No other better reason for living, than to celebrate the life that we have given to us by our Lord Jesus Christ, who came. We believe he came from heaven and he died. And on this day that we are celebrating at the coming Sunday, he resurrected from death, which gives us all hope for eternal life as Christians. So there's no better reason for living but coming on an occasion like this to celebrate, the risen Lord. So it's a time to celebrate the risen Lord in hymns. Come and explore the world of hymns with different ministers from different churches.
Failing that, come and enjoy good music.
Indeed,
Thank you very much,
indeed.
Bobby Dallin, for coming.
Thank you, it's my
and
pleasure.
we wish you a very, very fruitful and enjoyable moment during this hymn festival.
Hoping to see you.
All right. If I'm chance, I will. It's a good moment to come and share in. Okay. Well, let's continue talking music, but this time I want you to discover a man. A talent, a voice. He also plays the guitar very well, and he's been singing for a long time. He has 4 videos out there, and he's called Napsis. He's actually done some featuring with, let me not give all of that. But first, let's discover what he does, and then we'll discover the man behind the video you're about to watch, because he's sitting right here in the studio with me. Please just enjoy Napsis.
I'll be there, I'll be there, I'll be there. Je serai là, je serai là. Si jamais tu as besoin de moi, je serai là, bébé, je serai là, je serai là, je serai là. True love is hard to find, better found in you. I'll be there just to make you smile. I'm so in love with you. Hello, 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 hello. If you call me, I'll be there. Hello, 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 hello. Cause you're my baby, I'm your man. Oh, je t'aime, my baby. Oh, je t'aime, my baby. If I try to love another girl, baby, not taboo. Baby, not taboo. Baby, not taboo. If I try to love another girl, baby, not taboo. Baby, not taboo. Baby, not taboo. I'll be there. I'll be there whenever you need me. I'll be there. Oh, I'll be there. I'll be there. I'll be there. Je serai là, je serai là. Si jamais tu as besoin de moi, je serai là, bébé, je serai là. Je serai là, je serai là. Girl, you're my true love. I don't need to die. Girl, you're my true love. I cannot lie. It's just you I want, my baby. You're the lover of my life, my chérie. Let me love and treat you right. Oh, baby, I can't afford to lose you. Oh, je t'aime, my baby. Oh, je t'aime, my baby. you try to love another girl, baby, not taboo. Baby, not taboo.
We had to give you just a taste of it because he's sitting right here and we are just eager to discover Narcissus and the story behind him. Maybe you want to start with that song. What's that song about? I know it's a love song, but...
Well, Gisela is talking about, you're promising a girl, like, you'll be there whenever she calls you, like, you're trying to give her that assurance, that you always be there for her. You know, that is one thing most girls desire from a man.
Can I ask you a big favor?
Yeah.
Can I wear your face cap?
It's okay.
The reason I need to keep this is because I want the guys and the girls out there to see you very well. So tell me about it. Yes, tell me about your singing.
Okay, so Gisela is like, you're telling the girl that you are showing that girl that if you try to love another girl, like it's a big mistake, you know, it's a taboo.
Okay.
Like what most you do today, they always want to have like 3-4 girlfriends before they satisfy. So you
seriously?
So you're trying to make a difference. You're trying to assure that girl that your love is,
sincere.
It's for real. Yeah, it's sincere, and you're willing to do anything for her to make her happy.
I'm trying to fit this your face cap on my hair. When you were speaking, I said seriously, it's not like I'm surprised that many guys have many different partners. I was like, a guy like you wants to talk to your friends about it. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Tell me though about you singing. What pushed you into singing? And before singing, what was your life like?
What pushed me to singing was from childhood, like 8 years old, I used to watch my elder sister sing, and there was that one day in the parlor, they were like dancing, singing. I just felt that something inside me, you need to do this, so that was when I started music.
Okay.
I felt love, I always sing, I get inspired by Akon. During that period of time, Akon was more popular, and some other many artists, around the world. And also, what I was doing before I jumped into music, where I was in school. I was in school. By then, I think progressive, when I had my advanced level. Yeah, I had this song, Cameroon Girl, which was very, everybody around, Bamenda loved the song. So I was just thinking, who can I really put in this song to make it more big and make it more popular? Yeah, so that is it.
But how did your environment accept you as a singer, starting from home? How did family, friends, neighbors?
Well, with my dad, it was not easy,
I know.
It was like music is not good. Music gonna take you nowhere, and music you just begging, begging.
Don't be naughty.
Yeah. But my mom was like, well, let's just give this child a try. It might bring out something good. Yeah. So, but the environment, at first, I never really let people around me to know I'm doing music.
Okay.
Yeah, I just focused.
They just discovered you.
Yeah, I just focused on what I was doing and let them discover me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell me about 2017. Anything coming up? You say you are a signed artist and you have 4 videos out there. For a man like you, what's the future like? What's 2017 looking like?
Okay, well, 2017, is very, 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 very going to be so awesome because I'll be shooting next week, which I'll be releasing the week after next.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you shoot, do you promise to give us the video first?
Yeah, I promise.
Then you're my best friend.
Yay! I promise.
So, okay.
Yeah, 2017, I have a collabo coming up, which I'm going to do with Magasco.
Okay.
And also, I also have...
you did a collabo with Stanley
Eno. Yeah,
okay.
Cameroon Girl.
All right.
Yeah. And also, I also have a D, which I had with Trace Africa, which they're going to be seeing my song regularly on Trace. Yeah. And also, I also have some book shows out of the country, like Nigeria and some other stuff.
It's a beautiful year that you're announcing there. It looks like a lot is coming. Please keep your eyes and your ears open for Narcissus. He sings well, and he's on his way to a wonderful destiny in singing. Can I keep your hat? Don't worry, I'm teasing you.
Yeah, right.
Please, let me take you to Limbe in case. Have you been around Limbe recently?
No.
No. Okay, well, then sit with us. Let me take you to Limbe for another take on Festac, the Limbe Festival of Arts and Culture.
I was born in Cameroon, and I am a Cameroonian.
Southwest artist Tata Kinge stages his patriotic song entitled Cameroon. He is setting the Limbe Festival musical concert on fire. Moments of communion like this have been rare to come by these past few months, The population is now enjoying every bit of their annual celebration. And the artists, like in a carefully planned symphony, join their voices for a return to normalcy in the two Anglophone regions of Cameroon.
Hello to everyone who is watching us right now.
Anglophone, francophone, nous serons toujours. Voilà.
We've been doing things all this time. We didn't know any difference between the English speaking or French speaking. I grew up not knowing any difference between my friends. So I have everyone, everywhere I go, I feel like home. And that's what we still are fighting to keep that unity.
Each time I climb on the stage, I make sure that anywhere, everywhere, anytime, I start with the song Cameroon to promote patriotism and the love of our nation, so that our children, what is happening now can be quenched by this force. And music has power, and until we recognize that, we have to promote music that have lyrics that can bring the mind of people together in one love and peace. That would be very, very great.
All of Cameroon in one city, Limbe. The energetic is neighbor with renditions from northern Cameroon, performing his unifying hit entitled Naral.
I call for unity. It's very important for us to be in unity because we can grow when we are together.
Governor Dinga Isomba, the Prince of Bikusi, rekindled memories from his repertoire of oldies.
After this prestation, I realized that I was in family, and living together, loving each other is a reality here. I did not know that they like me, they love me so much, and I was about to burst in tears, and I'm so happy. Just say thank you for organizers, thank you.
Sammy Diko, forever sensational, was on the rendezvous. You saw the love of the people of Limbe. How did you find their reaction?
Oh yeah, I love them. I love all of them because their reaction is very positive, and I'm so happy again because this is a long time I'm not performed like this in Southwest, and today, this night, I'm happy.
And then the firebrand Manipela will have Pala Pala fever.
En anglais, c'est quoi? C'est le beat. C'est le beat. C'est quoi?
This is Limbe, as it is known, a taste of Cameroon. as it should be.
Limbe, the city of diversity, and a beautiful put together there by Albert Njembonde. There's a second piece by Albert coming up. Stay with us. The guy from the southwest telling us about Limbe, no better person to sell it in that way. Thank you very much, Albert. And for those of you watching us, Festac is still going on. If you thought that was the end of it, that was actually the start. So it's finishing on Saturday. You still have time to go dance, go sing, and go show off your own cultural definition of yourself. Now let's talk about the number of the day with Mercy Ashu Nyabehe. I finally got myself to pronounce that name, Nyabehe. Good morning, lady. How are you?
Oh, Pochi.
Yes.
Anyway, you go by your own pronunciation.
Oh, right.
With time, you'll get it right.
I'll get it right.
You'll get it right.
This is small catch monkey, right?
I hear you. I hear you.
Okay, we'll get there. So tell me, what are we talking about today?
We're talking about electricity supply in Cameroon and the fact that
very erratic these days.
You and I are suffering from a lot of power cuts. That's the reality of Cameroon, the Cameroon we live in today. We cannot be talking about an emerging economy
without
by
power.
2030. We want businesses to run. We want to do our own personal
Maybe
things.
they could run on candles.
Oh, Pochi, please, you're taking us back to the dark ages.
Forgive me. All right. Mercy shoot.
Of course I'm shooting.
Tell me.
Of course I'm shooting. I think, Pochi, that a lot needs to be done. I don't want to go into any publicity for who produces electricity, who is doing what in the background, because it will be a lot of... it will be too technical. It will be like
like you're selling somebody's
handling
idea.
Hello in a very institutional manner, and it's not supposed to be that way. The point I'm trying to make is that I think that Cameroon needs most of our resource persons who are in the sector of generating electricity need to think pretty fast about alternative sources of electricity supply. In other words, you cannot be at home, you get up in the morning, you can't, charge your phone. You cannot be running a restaurant, a saloon, you don't have electricity to, attend to your clients.
Or fresh food. Fish, chicken.
A housewife. Yesterday, I did an interview with a housewife, and she's telling me that she can't keep food in the fridge. She's not sure.
Exactly.
In other words, she's going to buy food in the market and not sure, and not so sure that the food is going to last maybe for a week, because people want to also save time. So they may want to do their shopping once or twice a week and be sure that, okay, that's all I have to do with the market for this week. But you can no longer do that. It's like you have to go to the market daily, because you cannot store food anymore in the house. So what's the essence of having a fridge? What's the essence of...
Or a deep freezer.
Yeah, or a deep freezer.
Worse,
which is worse, just like you're saying. So that's where we are. We cannot be saying that we are an emerging economy, we are moving forward, and we are taking 3 steps backward. They call it the dance bafia, or whatever you call it.
Sure, bafia dance.
So that's the reality. If I'm talking about the number of the day, the reality is that sometimes we go for 6 hours during the day. At least 6 hours during the day without electricity.
Sometimes it's also without water.
That's for another day.
That's for another day.
That's for because we are talking about basic utilities. We'll come to water. I think you're giving me an idea to go do some research.
But indeed, the point is clear. If we are going to be an emerging nation by 2035, we need energy to power all those ideas. And power is electricity. It starts with that and many other things. Mercy, thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Do you feel like freshening up yourself with something green, red? More of
yes,
red and yellow.
I would always like fruits, but what I'm admiring on your table this morning is your little mortar.
Yes, it has a lot of. This one is for the naughty people I have on set.
Really?
You know, in your kitchen when you get naughty, your mom is like took before she continues pounding. But this one is, most of what we do in Cameroon we pound. I can hardly think of any food that you do it to the end without some pounding.
Of course, you're right. As you're talking about pounding, I'm thinking about a friend of mine who's not Cameroonian, And she's coming from another African country, but she's so used to blending things. And when she got to Cameroon and I invited her home, she saw me grinding on a stone, using the mortar. She was like, this girl is a villager. I'm like, oh, I'm an African. The word you should use is I'm an African, I'm not a villager.
I hope she got the taste though, because the taste is different.
It's different.
Mercy,
Different.
I'm getting indication from Leocadia, producer, that we need to have a quick look at something else before we sign out of the program in the next 5 minutes. So have a beautiful day, and please get something fresh for your breakfast.
A better one for you.
I'll meet you just after this.
A better one for you.
This is Gobo, the municipality in the Mayo-Danai division of the Far North region. This town that is on their mark and getting ready to go as concerns the 10th edition of the Mose Cultural Festival known as Kodoma is cosmopolitan with about 70,000 inhabitants. But with their 70,000 people, they will be expected to expand their reception capacity as the Kodoma Festival usually regroups about 100,000 Mosees from Chad and Cameroon each year. Created in 1992, this town is largely made up of the Mosees, with some Massas, Tupuris, and Kanuris also living there. If you arrive this town, what you always see them do is commerce, agriculture, rearing, and a little bit of fishing. Yet, they still create time for their culture.
What is so peculiar about these people of Gobo is their culture. They are very attached to their culture, and that is why they organize a cultural festival each year.
Separated into two cantons, the Mosees and the Bogodo, Gobo, that covers 496 kilometers square, is further separated into 40 third-class chiefdoms. These people have no problem relating with strangers and their neighbors, and so hosting visitors for the Kodoma Festival will be no big deal for them. It is also common to find both Christians and Muslims in this small town. With primary and secondary schools spread across the town, we are told that there is a considerable level of literacy in this town.
If you go around and interview the children, you will see for yourself that they love school, and that interest pushes them to go further in their studies.
Sharing borders with Chad, where the Mosees are also found particularly in the Mayo-Kebbi Est division of that country, the town of Gobo is happy and ready to welcome its august guests to its small but hospitable environment.
Thank you very much, Henry Tato, for that look into Gobo as it prepares for an exceptional festival. And we'll be giving you details of that festival. Just a quick read of some of your messages before we say bye-bye. Ndonui Divine from Tabese Quarter in Bamenda says, if you have a girl, we'll say we need a boy. If we have a boy, we'll say we need a girl. Let's just open our mind and take what God gives us. A child is a child, be it a boy or a girl. It's a wonderful gift. So I thank God for my father, who is not a typical African man, and with an African mentality. This is from Summer Joy in Etugebe. There are so many more of your messages, but we'll read them, I promise, next time. Bye-bye. This is Hello Cameroon as we saw it today. Beautiful day to you. Bye.
Anguasso